the meeting and do roll call.
Richard Johnson's here.
Louis Pugas here.
Mark LePage is here.
Michael Ryan?
Roger Trahan.
Nicole Sharamonte.
Matthew Stoltz.
All right. And with that, we'll get started with our public hearings. The first one we have tonight is 444 East Central Street. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening. Adrian's running 5 minutes late. I don't know if you guys have a quickie something to take while we wait, while we give him 5 minutes to show up here.
Hey, Bricolai, can we just flip-flop the first?
You could go to Gen Business. You can't open up public hearings before their posted time.
Okay, that's what I
Um,
wondered. Yep.
Yep.
But we
you
could do
Gen
some
Business.
MBZA stuff, right?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah, that
I think
works.
that's good.
So let's go to that. All right, so the first one we have is 860 West Central Street. Do we have anybody here from, oh, hello. You want to come up to the desk here, and how are you?
Thanks.
If you could just give us your name, and you're from Glen Pharma, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me. So my name's Patrick Downing. My wife Beth and I are the owners of Glen Farmer Distillery, and I submitted an MBZA application because we're hoping to erect a new sign by this street on West Central Street. But due to the fact that we have the Mine Brook that runs under our covered bridge, it is in conservation. So forgive my ignorance of not knowing what to do.
No,
So,
yeah, so, yeah, that's good. We just wanted a brief description. We've got your application here. Yeah, do you have, Tyler, are you running the screen, or?
If he can flip through
Yeah.
the pages there,
Yeah,
I think the next page
maybe
is on
if
his
what you could
side.
do,
After
that'd be
that, maybe a site plan. might be a
Great,
few
is
pages
go to
through.
the pictures, yeah, and just kind of
So-
explain to us a little bit about the,
There's already a sign there, right?
there is a sign.
Yeah, so you're just
We would
a little
be
bigger and
moving
more
it
grand.
slightly, so it's moving back from the road a little bit, and it's moving further up towards the intersection of West Central Street and Route 140.
okay.
So, let me see if I can rotate this. Is that?
Well, that's impressive.
So basically, we're using 8 of our whiskey barrels as signposts. There's actually steel behind it. So the idea is, and what we'd be disturbing is would be digging footings. So the footings would be dug so that the posts, which are inside the barrels, would be embedded in concrete. And ultimately, you can see the steel that comes out and attaches to the frame in the center of the sign.
So I don't, you're not moving it any closer to the brook, just up the road, right, relatively speaking?
It might be slightly, so the angle of the brook
Right,
is such that
got it.
I don't know that it's exactly
digging.
the same distance, but it's probably comparable based on the
A
angle.
round hole, put some sonotube in it.
Exactly,
Putting the thing in and filling it full of concrete.
correct.
Yep, okay,
Pretty straightforward.
yep.
Yeah.
Bricolai, any comments?
Only that this is very de minimis in nature, so I
Yeah.
would recommend an approval.
Agreed. Any questions from, no? Any questions or comments from the studio audience? All right, with that, Richard, you want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 860 West Central Street?
Love to.
All right,
I give you a motion to approve the MBZA for 860 West Central Street.
Second.
all right.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve?
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
Thanks for coming and taking the time
Thank you
to
so much.
explain it to us. We
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
That didn't hurt too much.
No, it didn't.
All
It's
right.
been a process. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so next we will move to 912 Washington Street. Do we have anybody here from 912 Washington Street? All right. This is a tree removal. Do we have anybody online, Tyler?
Not the.
I'm not seeing her online, no.
Okay.
She did say.
She may just be running late, since we moved the agendas. If AJ's not in chambers, you could always take a recess, or now that it's past 7:02, you could open up the second public hearing.
Or why don't we even at least do minutes, right? We could ratify the minutes, that's general biz. The December 4th minutes, that was pretty complex, right? That was our brief Zoom call.
Right, yeah. How'd that work?
So there wasn't a lot there. I mean, I thought it transcribed the conversation we had. Any, no, all right. Louis, you want to give us a motion to approve the December 4th minutes?
I'll give you a motion to approve the December 4th minutes.
Second. Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
All right, and then December 11th, which was our full board meeting, I did look through. I think I didn't see anything that needed updating or corrections. Anybody catch
Good.
anything? All right.
Good.
Michael, you want to give us a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th?
Give you a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th, 2025.
Second.
All right,
Vote to approve.
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 Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
All right, are approved. All right, so that worked out. AJ, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So with that, we will open the NOI for 444 East Central Street.
Well, good evening, everybody. For the record, Chris Bradaroli. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting, joined by AJ Alavizos, the applicant, and Carlton Quinn, professional engineer from Allen & Major Associates. I believe that we are kind of coming down to the end of our proceedings here, and our understanding was tonight was basically going to be running through conditions. Obviously, if there's any other talking points that the commission, would like to address while we're here, we're more than happy to do so. But I think we probably defer to you guys on anything you wanted
Sure.
to ask of us or run through.
Yep, so I think one thing we did want to accomplish is voting to approve the restoration plan. I don't know if anybody, it's been a bit, but if anybody's got any additional questions on the restoration plan, it might just be separate from the project itself, but we did have them pull out the restoration plan and recall through that. But we didn't actually vote to approve when we took a look at it. So any questions, thoughts, issues, that anything you guys would like to add to that? And that, I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry, but certainly.
Yeah, no, nothing substantial. We just want to make sure we're looking at the right one and dated October 31st.
Yeah, yep, that you put together for us.
Yep.
So, all right, with that, Roger, you want to give us a motion to approve the restoration plan for 444 East Central Street?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the restoration plan for 444 East Central Street.
All right,
Second.
all right,
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Abstain.
Okay, great, all right, so we got that done. Then to your point, we do have conditions written up, so we can go through those. Bricolai, do you want to do that? You want me to do that?
I am impartial. I can definitely do so if you would like me to.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. I will do so then. So standard special conditions 19 to 51, those are pretty self-explanatory. Additional special conditions, for posterity, these do mirror 121 Grove Street really well. I know the applicant has looked at that project, and then based on conversations from the last meeting, Concom meeting, and then ZBA, I tacked on 3 additional conditions at the end. So again, happy to discuss further. Moving forward, special condition 52, the applicant shall submit a notice of intent with the EPA and a SWIP. These plans must be submitted to and approved by the Conservation Director, I'm gonna change that, and/or Conservation Commission prior to the pre-construction meeting and building permit sign-off.
Nikolai,
Starting-
hang on one sec. AJ, do you need another copy?
Yes, sir.
I've got electronically, so,
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
yeah, no worries. Sorry, Nikolai.
Was there not one for the applicant? I'm sorry about that.
No, they asked for some extras, so,
Okay, okay, good.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep. All right, would you like me to start again? Or am I good to continue?
I think we're good. I think we got 52, so, thank you.
All right, 53, starting with the commencement of construction and continuing until the completion of all construction activities at the site. The applicant shall conduct inspections once every 7 calendar days and within 24 hours of the occurrence of a storm event that produced 0.25 inches or more of rain within a 24-hour period, or within 24 hours of a snow melt discharge from a storm event that produced 3.25 inches or more of snow within a 24-hour period. SWIP reports must be provided to the Conservation Director and/or Commission as they are issued. 54, wetland replication efforts shall be completed per this order of conditions prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy. As an as-built plan and letter from the presiding wetland scientist certifying the successful completion and installation of the wetland replication. 6, stream daylighting efforts, please, shall be submitted to and approved by the Conservation Department and Commission. 55, having been vetted by the submittal of the notice of intent, review, and comment at public hearings and revise the director and commission's peer reviewers, the work will fully comply with the parameters set forth in 310 CMR 10.554B. 55.1, the surface area of the replacement area shall be equal to that of the area that will be lost. 55.2, the groundwater and surface elevation of the replacement area shall be approximately equal to that of the lost area. 55.3, the overall horizontal configuration and location of the replacement area with respect to the bank shall be similar to that of the lost area. I have additional comments on this for Chris and AJ. So, 55.4, the replacement area shall have an unrestricted hydraulic connection to the same water body or waterway associated with the lost area. 55.5, the replacement area shall be located within the same general area of the water body or reach of the waterway as the lost area. 55.6, at least 75% of the surface of the replacement area shall be reestablished with indigenous wetland plant species within 2 growing seasons and prior to said vegetative reestablishment. Any exposed soil in the replacement area shall be temporarily stabilized to prevent erosion in accordance with standard U.S. soil conservation service methods. 56, the applicant shall submit an operations and maintenance plan to and receive approval from the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy. The operations and maintenance plan shall provide clarification on a mowing schedule within and/or near replication areas and native buffer zone areas, and indicate when and where the dock will be removed and stored in perpetuity from the perennial stream. Contact information for the property manager shall be included in the operations and maintenance plan. 57, the applicant shall submit a revised operations and maintenance plan and receive approval from the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission for the revised plan that prohibits further alteration within the restoration area and mitigation areas in perpetuity, except to maintain those areas prior to the pre-construction meeting, building permit sign-off, and start of work. Any future maintenance or alteration must receive prior approval from the Conservation Department and Conservation Commission. 58, the applicant shall submit a revised operations and maintenance plan and receive approval from the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission for the revised plan that prohibits snow storage in any areas where the meltwater may enter wetland resource areas in perpetuity. 59, all snow storage must occur outside of the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland in the 200-foot riverfront area in perpetuity. The applicant must provide location and
Nikolai?
signage to. Yep.
I'm sorry, just one second, Nicole, that kind of, I think, yeah,
Addresses it.
okay.
I
Uh,
have actually revisions to that, if, real quick, but I would like to finish and then I can go back.
Okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted then.
That's okay.
All good.
That's okay. The applicant must provide location and signage denoting snow storage on site in perpetuity. 60, the applicant shall provide to the Conservation Department and Conservation Commission a copy of the Chapter 91 license for the approved dock, should it be installed prior to a certificate of occupancy. Otherwise, said licensure shall be provided upon installation. I'm sorry, Chair LePage, if you wanted to go one by one, we could do that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Me? Oh, no, that, we just had one specific
Okay.
question we were talking about on
Okay.
the snow storage, and
The snow
I
storage.
thought you'd captured it, but I just wanted to make sure, so I think
Okay.
we're
Good.
good. So, but
All
thank
right.
you. No, you're good.
Yep.
You're rolling.
We, not to interrupt, but will we have the opportunity to just comment on some of these
100%.
particulars?
Yeah, that's
what I'm
Okay,
here
got
today.
it,
Yep.
got it.
Yes,
Thank you.
and there's 3, AJ, that I'd like to tweak the wording even further or explain where it came from, so. 61, the applicant shall provide contact information to the Conservation Department and Conservation Commission for the licensed herbicide applicator conducting invasive species management prior to a pre-construction meeting, building permit sign-off and start of work. 62, if the invasive species management is not successful per the approved invasive species management plan, including 75% revegetation of native species after 2 growing seasons, a certificate of compliance will not be issued. Instead, further invasive species management may be required with approval by the Conservation Commission. 63, the applicant shall provide examples and proposed locations of signage around the replication areas and native buffer zone areas to refrain or limit maintenance disturbance to these areas in perpetuity. The applicant must submit the signage examples to and receive approval from the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission prior to installation. The applicant shall install signage prior to the certificate of occupancy. 64, should the 444 East Central Street property be sold prior to completion of the replication areas and/or issuance of a certificate of compliance, the applicant shall notify the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission between 14 and 30 calendar days prior to sale closure to schedule a technical review with the buyer and the Conservation Department and/or Commission to ensure compliance with this order and successful completion of the replication areas. 65, the applicant shall utilize bare root plantings no less than 3 gallons unless otherwise granted approval to use other sizes by the Conservation Director and/or Conservation Commission. 66, the applicant shall provide a construction sequence and schedule and receive approval thereof to the Conservation Director and/or Conservation Commission prior to the pre-construction meeting and/or start of work. And 67, the applicant shall pay for all post-permit peer review, post-permit inspections, and post-permit legal fees associated with document review and approval as outlined in the Zoning Board of Appeals decision, section C2, dated December 31st, 2025. I know that was a lot. If you could just bear with me a few more moments, I'd like to jump back to 54 for wetland replication efforts. I would like to actually change from certificate of occupancy to certificate of compliance. I know typically, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I would like to expand the language that wetland replication efforts need to be started before certificate of occupancy, but that does not mean that the 2-year growing season needs to be completed before certificate of occupancy.
There you go.
So I'd like to just further define that more. That way then people can live there while plants are growing.
Right.
55, this was a direct copy paste from 121 Grove. But I realized that in the approval of the Conservation Commission and the approval of ZBA, that the applicant is not replicating as a 2-to-1 necessarily. You are over 1-to-1 though, right? Like just a smidge?
Correct.
Correct, okay. So I would like to spell out in 55, I'd like to put some parameters to that, and then to remove the language from the Wetlands Protection Act, which is what this is copy pasted from, as it relates to bank, because they're not replicating bank. And then 59 for snow storage, I would actually recommend the commission add isolated vegetated wetlands as well, which would be your replication area. Because right now it just says bordering vegetated wetland and riverfront area.
And add IVW in there, okay. That's good.
So if the commission is okay with that,
Yeah, that makes sense. All three.
I would like
have-
to make those changes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we can take it back to AJ.
Could you please repeat the last change, Bricolai? I'm sorry.
That's okay. For snow storage on 59, the change that I was recommending to the commission was including isolated vegetated wetlands and or replication area to capture, that resource area as well, because right now it's just VVW and the riverfront area.
So couldn't put snow in any of those.
Got it.
other areas.
Got it.
Okay.
That's And you'll get a copy of these changes too, just FYI. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I think we've kind of been thinking about what is likely to come of conditions over the last couple weeks and have done some, prep work in anticipation. So I think in the interest of a couple of things, not the least of which is making sure everything's consistent with the comp permit and, making sure things make sense in the scheme of this development. I think we'd like to just kind of run through and make sure, language and things like that are all consistent. So our first, I guess we'll start at the top with 52. I think we are more than happy to provide you with a copy of the SWIP. We were just a little unsure of what approval the commission has for a SWIP. I don't know that necessarily we can go and just change that at some other request, because it does come under the construction general permit from the EPA. So we were.
It's just general language that I'm accepting it. I can change submitted to and accepted.
Yeah, we can confirm that we've received it or something.
It's acknowledged.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's,
That's-
we're not looking to change it, we just want
Yeah,
to
sure.
have an action in there that we got it.
Yeah, I think.
Got it, yeah. If we could just say submitted to,
Here, how about, why don't I do this?
Confirmation of submission.
Submitted to and acknowledged.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
that's what we're looking for. Good catch,
That works for us.
okay.
For the second one here, I think on a similar note, the frequency specified in condition 53 is not consistent with what we typically know SWIP frequency, SWIP inspection frequency to be. It's kind of an amalgamation of, there tends to be two standard frequencies that would be weekly or bi-weekly and after every half inch of rain. So this kind of combines the two, and I think would be inconsistent with what comes out of the SWIP.
It does actually add some more complexity to it, because generally, people will just do it every 7 days. But now if you have a 24-hour storm on a Friday, you're gonna have to pay someone to come in on a weekend to do a report, which generally people aren't doing. So it is generally done every 7 days, or if you wanna go every 14 days and after every quarter-inch storm is generally what the EPA guidelines show. It seems like they've been kind of mushed together on this condition.
Yeah, so this is actually what we've had for our previous 40Bs. I agree with you, especially on the half inch. This is just the general condition that we have for other projects. If you'd like, I don't know whose comment this is. Okay, that is not a comment. But I'll add a comment. We can discuss this further, and then upon approval of the project, we can settle on language if the commission's amenable to that anyways, and the applicant.
I mean, can we do something like 24 business hours? Right, Carlton, does that get to your weekend concern?
I suppose it does, but again, it's just not consistent with every SWIP inspector generally does. Again, I
Okay.
don't work in Franklin that often, maybe that's just how we do it here, but the EPA's language, that's what it says to do.
What does it say to do specifically?
It says you can schedule SWIP inspections every 7 days, or
Yep.
every 14 days and after every quarter-inch storm. So you kind of do a bit of a gamble whether you want to do less inspections, but have to do it after a quarter-inch storm.
So basically just making the condition language consistent with what the regulations.
I think if you just wanted to make it
require.
every 7 days, that would be fine. That's what most people do just for consistency, so they can schedule the inspection every Thursday, every Friday, or,
I think the challenge is, right, this is standard language for us for every 40B we've had, right? So you're talking about a pretty big change. So I think we just want to talk about it, right, Bricolai?
Yeah, I think there's something to say though with 53 and then the ZBA section 7.2 about post-permit inspections, especially for stormwater. So I think perhaps there is something, a middle ground to be met about changing 53, happy to amend that so long as the post-permit inspections or how we know Beta or Hancock going out and if we can still catch that 7 days versus 14 days. Does that make sense? I definitely think perhaps if we had to, the town, Conservation Commission, had to choose between the two, I mean, every 7 days is nice, but it's also good to go out after a storm.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
Would the commission be?
I don't know if I have an answer, just
what if there
thoughts.
was every 7 days and every half-inch storm?
It's fine, I'd be okay with that, because that's the most conservative.
We're changing something that's been already put into.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we can change it, right? And that's what we're here tonight.
Correct.
But it's a decision we have to make, right? You know, you gotta,
Yeah.
so let's voice opinions, right? That's why we're here. We've got a proposal from the applicant. Go ahead, you wanna,
Well, we had somebody here, the last meeting, that they were upset because we were asking them to do this. And now we'll give them the leeway to not do that. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's not actually correct. So the previous applicant is already doing this. This is not what they took issue with.
similar, but, yeah, different issue.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bree, glad to your point, I think, I'm sure there's language that can be worked in to coordinate with the ZBA review as well, right? With the SWIP reports. So,
Do you have a comment, Louis?
No, I mean, I guess really if you have like an event that would trigger a SWIP report, and then you have, storms that are, you have a break and another storm, you might have like 3 storms or 2 or 3 storms within that 7-day period. And just given that there's a lot of wetlands out there, you definitely want to catch that as quickly as possible. And I've seen projects around town where it's not being caught. They're not near larger wetlands like that, but I've seen them where they haven't addressed it from one storm to another, even though it's it's said in the, you know, in our conditions, so I would like to keep this verbiage in there for that reason.
So you'd like to stick with the every 7 days and.
Oh, and actually with the duration, so like whenever you have a storm event of,
So what you're thinking on a storm event of half an inch instead of a quarter of an inch? That was kind of the,
I mean, if you want to increase that, I just don't want to stretch out the frequency. That's the thing. It's like 7 days from one event, you know, you can have multiple storms in that given time.
right.
So I don't want to,
And through the chair, would it perhaps work with the commission if it was frequency as required by the SWIP?
I mean, I kind of like the idea of the 7 days and half-inch rain events, right? That was kind of the proposal.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That'll be fine with us.
That's.
I think we've kicked this around enough. We're fine with it.
You good with that, Louis?
Hmm.
If not, that's okay. I mean,
Currently, quarter inch, a half inch, that's gonna be a killer.
it's
It's all right with me.
you're.
You
make a
could
difference.
sit with it, and then when you go to vote, you can always discuss it. You don't have to necessarily close the public hearing. Not to make anybody's blood pressure rise in the council chambers right now. I'm just saying, you can also sit with it.
Yeah, it's something to think about here.
okay.
That is your right.
All right,
I'll highlight it for now, okay? And even at the end of the public hearing, if you want to come back to it, we can come back.
I guess I'll ask a dumb question. What's the difference between .5 and .25 in terms of impact to the property? Because that's what we're talking about here. Like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I know it's twice as much water, but.
I could be smart and say it's a quarter inch.
No, but you know what I mean?
But I don't know.
We're
Yeah.
arguing about
A
a
quarter inch of rain is, how much?
So
get it.
you look at it as quarter inch of rain spread out through an area. So
Yeah.
it's not just, you know, so you,
Yeah,
And through the chair, as Goddard Consulting, we do SWIP inspections on dozens of sites constantly. A quarter inch of rain is a really low threshold that virtually never causes any problems. So I was talking to Mark from my office, who's our, the SWIP team lead, and he was telling me earlier today that, a quarter inch is a very low threshold, for whatever that's worth.
thank you. That helps.
Okay. Maybe we'll come back, do it again one more time, but let's
Yeah,
keep clicking through.
on 54.
54 compliance.
So I
Yeah.
have another question on this one. So are we planning to ask them to pay for a third-party inspection in addition to their own inspections?
That's later on in this
Okay,
order of conditions.
okay.
We can get into that.
I think 60, was it 67 or something? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay.
So 54, we were already tweaking the language on that a little bit.
Yeah. So
We're-
the 2-year monitoring period may occur after the certificate of occupancy. I sign that on OpenGov through the building department, so that's fine.
Okay, and are we referring to the final CO? Because there might be a couple of COs over the course of development here.
Well, wait a second. I thought on 54, Bricolai, you proposed changing certificate of occupancy to certificate of compliance. Right?
So the wetland replication efforts have to be completed, yes, before you get your certificate of compliance. But the way that I had changed this is that this noting was not in there. So it was just that you had to complete your wetland replication efforts for prior to certificate of occupancy, where if I was reading this, I would include your 2-year I would think to include the 2-year monitoring of that.
Right,
Oh.
so I just want to make sure that 54 So I can go ahead and get a certificate of occupancy, like for building 1 in the clubhouse, for example.
Yeah.
As long as we make that change, replacing occupancy with certificate of compliance, right?
Yes, feasibly, how I would interpret this, and you can use this on the record, on the minutes, January 15th, 2026, 7:35 PM. How, and the commission, I mean, you're the legal authority, but drafting this condition, you can get your certificate of occupancy for building 1, building 2, building 3, building 4 signed off by my office with this condition, noting that your wetland replication is not completed.
Okay.
Your efforts are not completed because you would still have 2-year monitoring. I would hope, though, that you would have started your wetland replication efforts already.
Of course, yep.
Yeah.
I can't foresee a situation where we wouldn't have already started or finished it by then, but just,
But that's fine. I sign off on partial COs, so going back to what Chris was mentioning, often, or I don't sign, on open gov permit, I should say, the commission signs on the COs. And certificate of occupancies all the time.
And we struck stream daylighting efforts.
Yeah, I have this, that's my highlighting here.
Gotcha.
we struck it.
Yeah.
I have to go through that one,
We're not
but
doing
yes,
any
you're not
stream
daylighting any stream.
So strike that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
55 is basically a copy paste from 10554.
Yep,
We're gonna eliminate the bank reference, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's,
yep.
yeah, because the lost area is not adjacent to a bank.
Correct.
I have a question. The replacement area, and this is just because I don't know the lingo, I'm not an expert on this stuff like you guys are, is that the replication area?
Yes.
Okay.
The WPA calls it a replacement area, so AJ, I have the same issue. Because I quoted 310 CMR up here, I kept it in there as that same language, but I would also prefer to call it a replication area, just on the side.
Okay.
But yes,
Got it,
yes,
got it,
I
got
think
it.
that's all fine.
I can even do this.
We could do slash replication area.
There we go.
So I'm questioning why this is in here, because they have the replication areas in their plan. So we know it meets it
just-
from their plan.
All right.
Yeah, it just brings it to the top, so
Okay.
the way redundancy sometimes happens when you have your order of conditions, it is what it is. It also depends on who's looking at what. I typically like to think the conditions should always be with the wetland scientist, with our, the presiding wetland scientist, with a contractor in their truck likely. It should always be with any of our post-permit inspectors. So it gives them something to look at and reference as a guide. So while this is also something that, gets recorded in the registry of deeds as enforceable law, it's also a pathway for someone to quickly read it.
Okay, thanks.
So if you, Michael, were on site and you needed to know what the parameters were for those replication areas, you could look at this and you could know those parameters.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
And the replication portion of the plans are already designed to meet all of these because that's,
Yep.
kind of step one.
Sure.
Yep.
56 with regard to O&M, clarification on mowing schedule, indicate when and where the dock will be removed. Is that? Yeah.
I don't have a problem with any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
O&M prohibiting further alteration, which is part of the riverfront regs, I think that's fine.
Yep.
O&M for snow storage,
Wait, is this 58?
I'm on 58 now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 58 and 59 kind of tie together, right? 59 regards where the storage occurs, 58 just makes sure that it doesn't drain into any resources.
Yeah, so my only thought on that is, can we add may enter wetland resource areas without treatment in perpetuity? Because any snow that falls on the site is gonna go through the stormwater system and ultimately be treated and discharged. Am I correct, Carlton?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's unavoidable in any development. And just to be clear, maybe enter wetland resource areas without treatment.
Or without infiltration treatment, sure. And on 50, or sorry, are we done with 58?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
On 59, our current snow storage plan does show some snow storage area within the 200-foot riverfront area. Not a large amount, but we do show some. Carlton, can you show me how much is in the 200 foot? The 200-foot area covers a substantial portion of the site. So is there any chance that we could limit this to the 100-foot buffer zone? Because the snow is still going to go into the infiltration system, become infiltrated, treated, and then filtered out.
What's the square footage that's in the 200?
I have to go back and calculate.
Carlton's trying to do
I
some
wouldn't be able to
quick
do that from
guesstimation right now. You're challenging him. He's not good enough, he says.
20,000. Maybe 3,000?
It's half-size plans, too.
Come on, Carlton, you should know that off the top of your head like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the proceedings, we were directed to keep it outside the 100-foot, and that's what we did.
Yeah, yep, that's fine. So commissioners, you have some choices here. You could do 100-foot, you could do some in 200-foot, you could say,
Can we,
you know, X amount that you, go ahead.
Here was my thought, can we grandfather in what's on the plans right now? I just hate to see it expand, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, does that seem
Yes.
manageable to everybody?
That's
As shown on the plans.
is that good with
Yeah,
you?
that's good.
That's fine with us, and maybe we just say as much proportionally or something like that, so.
Just as depicted on the plans, I guess.
Okay, yeah, but we have to, because of the ZBA conditions, submit a revised snow storage plan. Remember that condition?
Yeah.
So we have a special condition in our comprehensive permit that requires us to submit a slightly tweaked snow storage plan. So I just want to note that our snow storage plan will be slightly different. So as long as
Yeah.
the same square footage overall is within
We just don't want it to expand. like
Yes,
that. So that-
correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, yeah, infiltration treated, snow melt, or no, not anything but, okay, yeah, we can make those two changes.
Within areas that'll drain to pavement and collect it in the
Yeah,
stormwater
okay.
system.
Yeah.
Or
Inside
just
the
say it shall not
100
it shall not exceed the amount of snow storage that's shown on the plans.
Within the 200.
Within the 200-foot.
Everybody good with that?
Area.
Realize that makes sense?
Yeah, if you guys see my screen,
Yep.
Okay.
that'd be good. Do you know when you're submitting that plan?
I'm just pulling it up right now. Prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Okay, that's fine. So this
And it's
condition,
only for the southeast corner of the site.
Okay. For this condition, I'll date the current plan that we have, and then I'll be at the pre-con anyways, so you can give me the updated snow storage plan. That's fine. So the new 59, I think encompassing everything, is all snow storage must occur outside of the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering an isolated vegetated wetlands and in the same location and/or square footage amount as depicted on the plan dated X. I'll put a title in there as well. Unless otherwise approved by the Conservation Commission, any changes to the snow storage plan must be submitted to and approved by the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission. Snow storage shall not exceed the amount shown on plan dated entitled X. The applicant must provide location and signage denoting snow storage on site in perpetuity. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. Rock and roll.
Number 60, could we just add the words, 2 words, if applicable? I think this came up in
Oh, yeah.
in peer review.
Yep,
Yes.
yeah, if needed,
Actually, I'll just put it at the beginning.
okay.
All right.
61, I think is easy. I mean, I don't think we're gonna be using herbicide anyway. So I don't have any problem with that if you don't.
And you only have to submit it to me once. It doesn't have to be at all 3 of these. It's just wherever I catch you, whenever you have it.
Bless you.
Yeah. Yeah. 62, I just wanted to be clear on this 75% revegetation. The proposal was never like eradicating invasive species, which I think we had talked about kind of since day one. So I just wanted to be clear that it wasn't 75% native cover within areas that are currently invasive dominant. Because I think the intention here was more so to be within the restoration areas for the riverfront area.
Okay. So in that case, commissioners, I would just say if you're approving the invasive species management plan, that's the language you're going by.
I just don't know how this would be logistically confirmed, this condition. Like, if we could just make this condition consistent with, we will follow the invasive species management plan, that would be, I think that would, I mean, that would make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are parameters though in the management plan to denote success.
Okay, yeah, which we could, I'm certainly amenable to adding further detail,
Yeah.
like the parameters we
Parameters.
included on those plans. Kind of
That's fine.
Copy,
All we're
copy
looking
them
for is a
over.
metric to gauge success, so we could, that makes sense, we use what's in the plan already.
Parameters
Yep.
of success for the approved. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just, sorry, real quick on that, the commission historically, has approved several invasive species management plan, especially from Chris, or Mr. Frateroli there,
Chris is
and for
fine.
other projects. So we are well versed in, we get what we can get, I should say, with invasives. So,
Okay, 63 is signage for replication area of the buffer zone. I think the landscape plans showed locations and details for these, so
okay.
it might be kind of redundant, but I suppose we
That's
can
fine.
confirm those things with you.
That's
Yeah,
fine, we don't have a problem with this condition.
I mean, I think the key here is that,
Just say see
Signage.
plans.
yeah, being installed.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah, we're fine with this. I mean, yeah, we're fine with this condition.
64 is regarding any sale of the property. I will leave that one to you.
This is just saying, the applicant shall notify the Conservation Department and/or Conservation Commission between 14 and 30 calendar days prior to sale closure to schedule a technical review with the buyer and Conservation Department and Commission to ensure compliance with this ordinance, successful completion of the replication areas.
Just making sure the buyer knows what they're getting into,
Sure.
basically.
Could you just,
Yes.
is there any way you could just remove the last part, which is and successful completion of the replication areas?
Sure. Could I, because that's actually a big sticking point, would I be able to amend, or could we
Oh.
amend, or would the commission approve something to say like, and work proposed in the notice of intent?
Sure, yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, I don't, this to me seems like the completion of the replication area has to be done before the property
Not-
can be sold. That's how I'm reading this, and maybe I'm reading it wrong.
So, and I don't wanna, I can't see anybody's faces, so I don't know, Chair LePage, if you're trying to talk, I'm sorry, I can't read body language, but, the conception of this, condition is in case it's flipped. I don't think it will be flipped considering, Horace Mann Plaza up the road. But, just in case this is so, any developer just can't walk away, especially when there's a wetland replication. That has happened historically, so this condition is in place to try and prevent that, so at least replication specifically occurs, between, change of hands.
so,
But it does not mean that replication needs to happen before the sale.
Yeah,
Just that whoever's
yeah.
buying the property understands.
Yeah.
Now they're liable to. complete it.
That's fine, yeah, just ensure compliance with this order and future implementation of the replication areas, which includes implementation of the replication areas, just something like that.
Should we put replication plan in there?
Yeah, just to clarify that the replication area doesn't need to be completed yet
Yeah.
by that time. That's all I'm getting at there. Because in theory, we could CO all of the units and not have the replication area done yet.
Feasibly. Not what I like to hear, AJ, but yes, that is what you
No,
could do.
no, I'm just talking about how the conditions are written. That's not what we'll do,
No,
but.
that's true. Yes, that would, yes. 65, just not to interrupt, but this one came from, Nicole there. So, looking to her, she wants to change the wording as well.
No, it looks good.
Okay.
But my only comment on that is, I don't think you can have a bare root planting in a 3-gallon pot, because then it wouldn't be bare root.
Correct?
And is this this was intended for the replication area itself, I think, right? Is that,
Yes.
yeah. So if we can maybe strike bare root and add in the replication area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Construction sequence and schedule, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then 67.
Well, receive approval thereof.
Oh, for construction sequence.
Again, that's more just saying, yep, we've received it, we agree
Yeah,
with
if,
it.
could we just,
Yeah.
could we just copy over the same language we agreed to on the other condition,
Yep.
for that one, Bricolai?
Yep.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about that at the pre-con. I mean, that's just for posterity and abutters and Concom and everybody. This pre-construction meeting has ZBA, has the building commissioner, has the town engineer, has myself. So there are a lot of knowledgeable people there to discuss.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And then 67 is just, in reference to the condition that's in the ZBA
Yes.
decision, right?
Yep,
It's not additional to.
Correct.
Correct? Okay,
correct.
all right.
We're done.
So for 67, then we're not saying they need to pay for an ongoing, regular,
that-
third-party inspection.
So that is what it says.
That is
The
what it
applicant shall pay for all post-permit inspections as outlined in the zoning board of appeals. That discussion, though, happens later, like for stormwater inspections, for infrastructure inspections, that happens around the pre-construction meeting. So that's a larger discussion to be had between building commissioner, town engineer, myself, and the applicant, and what that looks like moving forward.
Brico, is 67, what condition is it in the comprehensive permit?
Section C2,
Okay. Let me just look at it, please.
really, it's, from a Concom perspective, it's stormwater inspections, which I believe Chair Hunter had actually asked about at ZBA, but I can't remember. It was not my best moment being on baby duty and then having to do ZBA. So thank you, everyone, for bearing with me with that.
I commend you. C2. Yeah, if we could just reference, oh, you do reference it, okay.
I
All right,
did.
all good, sorry.
Okay,
It's
good.
not my
Nope, you're
best,
good.
not my best moment tonight either, I don't even have a good excuse.
Okay, so with that, the only things that still have yet to be changed is a plan for the snow storage. I just need to find the date and title of that plan. The copy paste from the WPA, and then, the GCP SWIP.
The date and title of the snow storage plan is, if you want me to give it to you now, Brico, to make your life easier. Snow storage plan is the drawing title, sheet number C105B.
A and B.
Or sorry, A and B, so sheet number C105A and B, and it's dated 10/29/25, so October 29th, 25.
Yay, thank you. Wait, 105B. Okay. Commissioners?
Yeah, I think all good. I think it seems like the commission wants to think a bit more on the stormwater inspection.
Let me, so,
Or go ahead, Louis.
I pulled up
Yeah,
something
please,
here. So, EPA website, construction general permit, frequently asked questions. And I'm just gonna read it from here, because it's, because I really needed to have an understanding that 25.25 or 50. With regards to the requirement to conduct an inspection within 24 hours of the occurrence of a storm event of 0.25 inches or greater, if the project's normal business hours are Monday through Friday and the storm produces greater than 0.25 inches of rain on a Saturday, would an inspection be required on a Monday, ? Or would an inspection be required on a Sunday, non-working day, i.e. non-working day? Under GCP, inspections are only required during project's normal working hours. In addition, the permit explains that, quote, within 24 hours of occurrence of a storm event, unquote, means that an inspection is required within 24 hours once a storm event has produced 0.25 inches of rain, even if the storm event is still continuing. With respect to an inspection would be required for operators conducting the inspection after a 0.25 inch storm event, if the rain volume threshold is reached on a non-working day. It was EPA's intention that the inspection be conducted on the next working day. For example, if the storm event that produced 0.25 inches of rain occurs on a Saturday, the inspection would be required on a Monday, the next working day. So that's just pulling it off from the site as a reference.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. So you don't have to come in on Saturday.
All right, so I think outside of that, we got all the conditions finalized, right? Rewrite that up. So our intent will be to come back in 2 weeks, finalize conditions, we'll resolve that last point of stormwater inspections and go to a vote would be our intention, most likely.
Will we have the opportunity to go over, will we have the opportunity to ask any other additional questions we might have on other conditions? Like-
Yeah, I mean, our intent's not to close the public hearing.
Got it.
So we'll have.
We'll still have the public hearing in 2 weeks from now, in which we could ask a follow-up
Right.
question or two before
Right, and we may have the
voting.
same thing, right?
Got
So
it, yep.
hate to close things
Sure.
down, and this way we'll have the opportunity to make sure that we're all aligned. But I think we're pretty close now. That makes sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't be too many if you want to close it out next time.
And I think we were,
Maybe, yeah, we were just talking about,
we
actually.
we had been looking at, obviously, I'm familiar with your standard special conditions, and we're looking through some of the language on a handful of those. We were wondering if we'd have the opportunity to discuss some of those, or if those are set in stone.
So you want to talk about that now?
Or we can do it
Or I suppose at any
next
point,
hearing.
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather get as much done now as
Okay.
as we
Yeah.
could. So if you've got other, the closer we can get, I think would be better. Bricolage, I gotta say, I've never encountered conversation on the standard conditions. Do you have a opinion on that?
Well, they can go over it. I mean, it's the proposal, so that's fine. Sometimes it's language that could be added in like 52 through and beyond, so you omit something up above because you have it down below. So it's fine. I have gone through that exercise before.
Standard conditions aren't set in stone. I mean, they're suggestions you can modify and change as
Yeah.
the conditions. If a condition dictates it needs to be modified a little bit, it
Okay.
certainly can
I
be
mean,
done.
yeah, okay, so, what you got?
So our major question to ask you folks is with regard to biodegradable erosion control barriers. And
So
we
you
have
give me,
20, the second of
Yeah,
the
got it, okay.
standard special conditions.
Yep.
As we've been thinking about this and, now we're looking forward towards construction phase, our thought is that in a project of this scale, construction's likely to go on for 2 years or something like that. And the biodegradable erosion control barriers, while they obviously serve the purpose of not putting plastic right along your wetland resource, they don't last as well as the non-biodegradable versions, and our real concern is having to replace those multiple times through the course of construction.
You have experience stating that they don't last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I'm on a project now that we've had the same things down there for 5 years and they're still there.
Yeah.
Really?
We see them sometimes, yes, they do last plenty long, and other times they're falling apart in 6 months. I think it depends on a lot of factors, including, how much work is occurring right up next to them, how much exposure
Well,
they have.
On any erosion control device, if you get too close to it and bugger it up, you're gonna have to change it.
Sure.
That's just a fact of life in construction. So,
I asked the same exact question to Chris, because I wasn't familiar with the biodegradable erosion control barrier condition language before. I had never seen that before. So I asked him, what's the average lifespan of a biodegradable erosion control barrier versus a non-biodegradable, right? A standard erosion control barrier. And he said to me that I think you're being really optimistic if you think these are going to last the entire life cycle of the construction project,
What would
which
you
is
consider your life cycle to be?
2 years, about, give or take.
Oh.
So my response to him was, okay, then we would then have to go out and replace them, and therefore impact these streams, these banks, an addition when we wouldn't otherwise had to if we used an erosion control barrier that had a longer lifespan. So that's where I was getting at with Chris.
Well, project that, we had them there for 5 years, and we've had to go and split them and spread them out so that we can get them to go away.
So what,
I don't, I can't imagine that you, and even if you had to replace it,
Yeah.
so you come in, you lift, you spread it out and put a new one in its place. I mean, you, in the process, sure, you're exposed for a couple hours, but that's not gonna be.
My thought was a non-biodegradable solution, like we spec'd on the plans, would obviously it would
Well,
last the entire life cycle of the construction process.
If
No-
it's
no-
non-biodegradable,
And then we have
they gotta get rid of it.
and then we have a condition which requires us to remove it
Yeah,
after
if you wanna do that.
certificate of occupancy. That's what I was proposing to do, because I was thinking that would actually minimize a mobilization, because there's a chance, Chris is telling me, that if you use a biodegradable version, then it doesn't last the entire life cycle of the construction project. Then you have to redisturb that area, install another biodegradable barrier. And I'm like, why are we doing it twice? Let's just do it once and then have a condition that requires we remove the erosion control barrier post-CO.
It's probably not a bad idea, because a biodegradable one, you have to do something with it, because it just breaks down, but you don't just plow it into the ground, you have to go pick it up, and if you don't have one and you're gonna pick it up anyway,
Right.
that would be, I don't see there's any harm or any foul in that.
So that was our only thought here, was instead of reapplying or having at least the potential of having to reinstall them, we would do it the slightly more robust way and just ensure that they are taken out at completion.
Our concerns usually were on that the silt fences and stuff never went away. So we wanted the biodegradable so they do great, but in this particular case,
Absolutely.
they're gonna pick them all up anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
rid of
And,
them.
and we certainly see, I go to sites all the time, and I find 20-year-old silt fence in the woods.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
they never go away.
So-
Yeah, like if we could do language like within 90 days of final CO, receipt of final CO, it'll be removed.
The only thing I see about that is we're treating different people differently. You know,
There's different conditions.
well, if you're using erosion control, it's somewhat the same conditions.
But the
you're
condition with this
planning on
project
just
is,
leaving
it's a
them there.
longer project, is where I was coming from.
So what kind of material are you talking about that has broken down in that time period?
It doesn't get,
They don't break down.
not the town.
You were saying that the biodegradable break down, so
There's
what
a
material?
variety of different versions of that type of thing. Some are wrapped in cotton, some are wrapped in burlap, some are kind of more like a twiny material. I was talking, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Filtermint Groundscapes Express. I think they're in Rentham. And they have, it's essentially like a blown wattle type of product, like you would apply hydroseed or blown insulation. And I think they're wrapped in like a burlap type material.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with him earlier today. He was telling me, 6 to 18 months is the expected lifespan.
Because I'm looking at a coconut core one, I don't know anything about it, but it lasts 2 to 5 years, and it's biodegradable.
Yeah, so that's, I'm familiar with that product. It's more of like, that's less of a sausage and more of just like packed coconut fiber, I believe.
That's what it looks like. It looks like just what you see, but
Yeah, no, there's a variety of different materials that they're made of. I think that one is less of a wrapping with the material inside and more of just a solid log of material.
Pre-Glide, do you have a comment?
And I think, obviously, yeah, it's biodegradable. But that's, I think, a substantial increase in expense for a product like that.
So just talking about precedents and procedure, yes, the commission does require even homeowners to install biodegradable wattles. So there's that point. I will say Franklin Heights uses biodegradable wattles, and they've only had to replace it once, and it's on their access bridge. And that project's been going on for 2 years now. So there is something to say about how you stake it, right? Don't stake it down the middle. You always want to hex your wattles. Why would you ever stab something that you just spent an absorbent amount of money on? It's beyond me. There are ways to ensure their longevity. Typically, you know, from a disturbance standpoint, if you're looking to do silt fence, any proper silt fence has to be towed in 4 to 6 inches into the ground, otherwise it's not gonna work very well. It would not be a properly installed silt fence. So from a disturbance standpoint, if we're thinking about a silt fence versus laying sock out, and typically when you're using biodegradable wattles, you don't necessarily remove the one that's broken. You can actually stitch it, number one. You can fix it, so you get more use out of it, but you would lay on top of or next to the new piece. So to me, that's actually less disturbance than a towing in of 4 to 6 inches. So I think there's a conversation to be had for the commission on what type they're proposing. You could do photodegradable, which is actually the twiny material that Chris Frateroli was mentioning. It really doesn't degrade very well unless it's under the sun, right? But there's a conversation to be had and a balancing act. Franklin Heights was a 40B, and you required biodegradable wattles at 121 Grove as well. That's all I had.
We're just pulling up the spec that's on our plans. Give us just 1 second. Full tracks.
Yeah. Full tracks. That's the green one, right?
Thoughts on that?
I say we stick with the biodegradable,
Natural filter.
to be consistent.
I think our preference would be to stick with the biodegradable. Understand the potential challenge, but we'd like to stick with it. Is that kind of the consensus?
Get one that lasts.
The one that lasts is probably double the price. That's my concern.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if it doesn't last and you have to do it again, it's double the price.
No, yeah, but the one we've spec'd, I know will last, and I know will remove. And I know if we get one that is maybe less expensive, because we don't want to pay too much of a price premium for a biodegradable barrier, because we have a construction budget that we're held to, unfortunately, then that one might not last as long as another version. And then I have to go remobilize and redisturb area and replace the barrier. So I thought in my conversation with Chris and Carlton that the best thing from an environmental standpoint and a budget standpoint would be to do a non-biodegradable version that we're all used to and we know will last the entire extent of construction, and we can accept a condition to remove it within 90 days. But so we just want to get our opinion across the table, and that's, we understand where you guys are, so.
This is, commissioners, if I may, this is what I'm here for, right, is to think about creative things. There's also an avenue for a compromise that those areas, fortunately, most of the sites in the 200-foot riverfront area, but those areas that are within, wetland resource areas has biodegradable, and then the rest could be something other. I don't know if there's a conversation to be had there either. But it did just occur to me that you could
Or
manipulate it in that way.
okay,
Like a hybrid?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would make a lot of sense, Bricolai, and Mr. Chairman. So just for around the stream, it's the biodegradable, and then for all other areas, we can use what we spec'd on the plans. Is that okay? Is that where you're proposing? I might have misunderstood you.
The stream, I'm correct
Yeah, and
Yeah.
replication areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Any wetlands, resources in the replication areas.
Sure,
Would be
that's-
biodegradable.
Yep,
Thoughts on that?
Compromise.
that's fine.
No?
No, I don't think that we should. I think it
Okay.
should stay the same. We require it of everyone. It should be the same. I think that we're just gonna open up a,
Okay.
I agree with the compromise.
Louis?
Do you have, is there a sheet where it shows you where they're gonna lay these out?
Yes, the erosion control plan
Pull it
does,
up, just to.
which is, I got the detail pulled up, but it's in the civil plans.
You're not gonna be able to show it though.
Oh, do you want us to show it on the screen, sir?
Does anybody wanna see that, or?
Yeah, I mean.
Just to kinda get where the perimeter would be.
It's sheet 101 if you have the plans.
I might be able to get it here real quick.
Bring up the project page.
Let me just
Here
do,
we go. Civil site.
See.
Chris got it.
One of us could do it too. I could do it.
September
I
18th,
think I got it here.
September 18th plan?
no, it's the October 29th plans.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, this is the right revision, let's just find it.
It's sheet C101A. That's it.
Yep. So this, let's see if I
God, sorry.
can. This line with the X's along it is the erosion control line.
Okay.
So it obviously wraps the resource areas, and then we can go down here, and then follows our limit of work down towards the bottom as well, and then goes up the property lines. It encircles the entire limit of work.
Okay.
So maybe, this is the kind of compromise approach we were just talking about. We can use the biodegradable ones immediately up gradient of the resource areas, and the non-biodegradable ones on the site perimeter or something to that effect.
Yep. Or just have the flexibility to do that would be great.
It is a fill site, so it's a lot. It's a lot of linear footage.
Yeah, this is quite a big scope item for us. So any compromise we can agree on would be really helpful for us.
How would we enforce the removal piece if it's after the CO?
Inspection.
That's me.
The-
I do that.
So-
Part
so-
of my normal job duties.
So
Yeah.
Bricola, in that case, is the biodegradable just not removed and the,
Correct.
okay, I got it.
Yep.
And I believe there's a condition in here somewhere that requires your approval to remove them anyway, right?
Correct.
I think,
Yep.
yeah, the standard.
All right.
If you don't have to remove the
Commissioners, you would-
biodegradable, that's it. That saves you money. You don't have to go around picking up a whole bunch of, and disposing a whole bunch of,
Saving on labor.
That's what I was saying, is if we could have the flexibility to do what we just proposed, so we can look into options, like, if I can find biodegradable erosion control barrier that isn't that much more expensive, then I'll just do it everywhere, you know what I mean? But if I can at least have the
you don't have to
flexibility.
pick it up, that's not a bad.
Yeah, if I can at least have that's true.
So, Bricolai, just procedural question, right? I think we got a difference of opinions amongst the commissioners. We don't have a consensus. So is this something we can and should go to a vote on? Is that the move?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do it now, or I can draft, well, I could just draft a hybrid. You keep the same special condition 20. Leave that as it is, and then for the next meeting, I can draft a hybrid, but I wouldn't continue the conversation after that. Very
Okay.
similar to,
Yeah, get some detail about what we're talking about.
So I think that's a good idea, so that way we can look at what the conditions would look like either way, correct? Yep, the compromise condition, well, we know what it looks like now, and then we'll vote on it. Does that make sense to everybody? 'Cause I don't think we have a consensus, so I think we ought to vote on it. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I mean, listening to Nicole, I was thinking the same thing. You know, I mean, we don't have to agree tonight anyhow, but if Project A is made to do it and then Project B isn't, somewhere down the road, we're gonna hear it, that they wanna do it another way.
Don't disagree, Roger.
And we're kind of, unless we completely change the bylaw down the road, I
But all
think we
these
should keep
bylaws,
it.
all these bylaws are subject to the interpretation by the commission. If all we needed was a bunch of paper with all the rules and regulations, we wouldn't need us. That's what it says in there. It says, as the commission shall decide, and then here's the suggested rules. So we can make modifications.
But
As
builders
we see
will
fit.
come in and say, you did this for this site, I want it done for my site. And,
Why do you want it for your site?
yeah,
What is the situation?
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, our situation is it's a massive site, it's a massive amount of erosion control barrier. If I can at least have the flexibility to have those two options, and I can, because it's not like I've looked into detail pricing this out and bidding it out and looking into it with a subcontractor. So I at least have the optionality to go and do that, more detailed work that I haven't yet gotten to yet. It would be great for me to have that flexibility. So I appreciate your consideration.
Okay. So we're gonna be discussing this, or at least looking at what they're coming up as far as like a hybrid.
So Bricolage is gonna write up an alternative proposed standard condition
Okay.
that we'll look at that and this, and then we'll vote as to which one we want to implement next week is what I'm saying is, I think, a good move forward if everybody's.
I will send it to everybody as I have it.
I think-
Yeah.
Everybody. You all blind CC'd, and then I'll send it to the applicant.
Okay. Just so that we can get information about what you guys are proposing as far as that alternative, is there like a spec or something you guys can?
There's a detail on the plans. It's on the sheet
plans already?
C501.
I'll find it right now.
Okay. So, just so we get an understanding what that looks like.
Yeah, change it.
Okay.
Couple other quick
Yeah, sure.
adds or subtracts, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's get into it, yeah.
23 written conformance reports, we were thinking adding just once construction begins, because, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
is that
Yes.
fine? Okay.
No worries there.
27, plan changes. Could we add any material changes? Because, you know, there may be things that change when CDs come that are really immaterial. That was our thought on that item.
Yeah, these plans are concept plans. We're gonna have design development. It's gonna take us 6 months to get construction documents, and there will be minor changes we make throughout that process, so we just wanted to capture the spirit of this condition and make it, you know, reflect reality of what's gonna happen.
Bricolage, is there a way to define material change or quantify? Or I guess that we can ask anyways.
No, and AJ, I'm just gonna call a spade. That makes me really nervous with this project, not having it at least submitted to somebody to say yes or no.
Well, we do. We have to submit for a building permit.
I mean, that's true, so that's fair. So then what I say, instead of doing it to phrase this the same way that the other ones are phrased, it comes to the Conservation Department and or Conservation Commission. Typically, I have the administrative authority. Obviously, I sign off on building permits. I talk to you, I move things along, and then if it is material change, which my definition of material change is something that would, well, there's actually two definitions. For a plan, a permit amendment under general business, that's something that is de minimis in nature, or for example, your flow rates don't change, but you need to add more impervious surface, but your flow rates don't change. We just had that sort of situation. Then I would say that would have to come under the Conservation Commission. The other material change would be one to reopen the public hearing. But I wouldn't be apt to say that any site plan changes you make doesn't get somebody to look at it on the conservation side. Does that make sense?
You can't define what the change is that's going to trigger this. So
Right.
you gotta kind of have to work together between you to say, you know, we changed the door locks. Okay, that's not,
Right.
So,
versus.
Well, Bricolai's seeing the plans anyways
Yeah.
for building permit, so, you know, she can make the
You have to
determination then
coordinate
and
with
there.
her.
Correct.
Right.
You're gonna
So-
Yes.
decide which ones.
All right.
just one clarification, so like, in construction, you know, some of this size, there's a lot of grade, like if you change spot grades on a plan, we'd still, anything on a plan that changes, even if it's not changing the layout of it?
No.
Yeah, like
You
for,
just send me an updated plan and then I'll say, okay, thank you.
okay.
If a building's moving, if your parking lot's moving,
No.
things like
Yeah,
that. if
yeah,
your
nothing like that.
Buffer zone impacts are changing,
Yeah.
like, then that comes, now we're roping in.
So if I'm
amenity.
changing inverts on a pipe, I wouldn't have to send it to you or something like that?
You would just, I would just ask for the plan, so your final as-built matches
Yeah,
what I
well-
have in the permit folder,
Yeah,
but
it's
it wouldn't
kind of an
necessarily.
as-built.
need to
Yeah,
come from me.
yeah. I mean, Bricolai, if we're going along the design development process, for example, we're looking at a change where we're gonna probably adjust the grades a bit. We're gonna lower the site a little bit by a couple feet to save on import costs. And we'll have some sewer line changes as a result of that. We might also have to incorporate a holding tank based on a condition in our comprehensive permit, depending on the sewer study that we have to do with the DPW. A change like that, that'll come about when we submit our building permit set to you for your review. And I assume, you know, you would look at it and probably sign off on something like that, given it's contemplated already in the comprehensive permit decision. And it's de minimis, I believe, in nature. It's not causing material impact to the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction in terms of wetland impact, impervious area increase, something like that.
If there is no change from what is permitted, yes, that is fine. If all of a sudden your sewer line needs to come in on a different, I don't know, off of, what is that? That's not Ford, whatever. The car dealership all of a sudden, like now you're significantly changing it, yes, that would come from the commission. But if something is the same as what's been permitted and discussed, that is fine. So. And then there's, as I mentioned, there's tiers there between what would just be under gen business versus reopening a public hearing. I have not, in my tenure here, reopened a public
Okay,
hearing.
all right, understood.
It's always been gen business.
But one of the changes that was contemplated by the ZBA and us as we went through the decision and DPW's special conditions with the lift station that's across the street is the potential requirement of a holding tank. So we're going to do a sewer study, we're gonna fund it, and it's going to study our flows and the pump station that's directly across the street from our development, that's in that small little retail strip mall.
Yep.
And based on that, it's gonna determine whether we have to incorporate a holding tank into our project. If we incorporate a holding tank into our project, we may end up switching from a gravity-fed sewer system to just a force main with a pump attached to the holding tank. Since we're already putting in the holding tank, we have to pump it anyways, off-peak. We're gonna absorb those costs anyways. We might end up doing that, and then we can lower all the buildings by a couple feet, save on import costs. So that's the type of change I'm talking about, where it's already contemplated by the permit. I don't think it materially affects the Conservation Commission's area that they would like to review. I just wanted to bring that up because that is a change that was contemplated by the ZBA in their decision in a specific
Yeah.
condition, and one I'm sure you would understand is, you know, a contemplated change that isn't material. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm assuming the holding tank isn't gonna be in the river, so.
Right,
that's-
correct, yes.
So
right.
that's fine, pending on the location of that's fine. Commissioners, I mean, this is a good exercise of what you see, what I do. something I do in my day-to-day as well.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that somebody's got the eyes on it. You're going to be making the call on
Right.
material changes, 100%. Yep, that's what we're
Okay.
looking for.
That sounds good. And you've seen, just, sorry, as a side to the commissioners, you've seen enough permit amendments that there's a track of what changes when I bring it in front of you. And anything, just for posterity's sake, anything that I think is too close to my administrative authority, I always run it by your chair. So, just so you know, I'm not acting on my own.
Yeah. Talk off.
Okay,
All right.
next.
I think that that's all I've got, unless you guys have something else that rose to the top for you.
No, I haven't even looked at this, so no, I'm good.
So we've got to make a final decision on the stormwater inspections and on the erosion control barriers. We'll make that
Sure.
at the next meeting. Otherwise, it looks like we're relatively aligned. We'll
Yep.
wordsmith these, get that finalized, and that'll be the proposed move forward. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah. When you do come, could you have the linear footage of the different erosion controls you're looking for? Would that be hard to get?
Linear,
In other words, you're
Linear
proposing,
footage.
say again?
The linear footage of it, right, Roger?
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Sure.
number and
How many
locations.
footage? how
Yeah,
much
of
footage
course,
you got?
yeah, we can do
You
that.
should know that.
it's the number.
Just
Yeah.
the number?
Yeah.
Right.
Of each,
Yeah.
biodegradable
Sure.
or not.
Sure,
Thank you.
yes,
That's easy.
yes, yes.
Good question.
Perhaps you can, on the plan, I mean, it doesn't have, just highlight it, what you're gonna be using and where.
Yeah, I can draw up a little sketch or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right,
Yeah.
good.
For sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I want to go back to 67 one more time. I just want to ask, I know it references the ZBA section C2, but are they going to be paying for redundant inspections? In other words, you're paying for your own 7-day, half-inch inspection, and then are you also paying for a third party to do the exact same inspection? I guess that's my question.
I think ultimately the contractor is responsible for the erosion controls on the site, so they have to sign off on it.
So this, if I may, this is towing into a different discussion that we're having, especially later on in this meeting. The short answer, the answer to you, Michael, yes. But the redundancy is not what you've been told is redundant by another applicant. Post-stormwater inspections, which happens for every project throughout town by a third party, not only checks erosion controls, but it also ensures that the special conditions by the commission are being followed. The stormwater bylaw is being followed. This ZBA decision is based on the stormwater bylaw, which allows for post-permit inspections. That portion of the bylaw was not waived. Because Concom has maintained stormwater review for this project, Concom shares jurisdiction on that bylaw. So, do you have multiple people going out and inspecting? Yes. Is it procedural and happens for every 40B and every other project throughout town? Yes. Are there inconsistencies that happen from the applicant to the inspector? Yes.
So now I have a question. I'm sorry. So on the storm walk, so you're saying
No.
I'm gonna be paying 2 different civil engineers to review stormwater?
You have your side, the town will have their own representative.
When you say the town will have their own, do you mean the ZBA will have their own and Conservation Commission will have their own, or do you mean the town will have one?
One or the other. One or the other will be doing stormwater.
Okay.
So this is what's discussed at the pre-con where we all.
All right, got it. Got it. So we'll have one peer reviewer
Yes.
that's
Yes.
determined at the pre-construction meeting, either Hancock,
Or Beta.
hopefully it's Hancock, because they're a lot
Or-
cheaper than Beta, to be perfectly honest. Reviewing, and we'll determine that. I got it. Thank you.
It'll just be.
Yes. You're on it, yes. So, yes, redundancies, Michael, perhaps some overlap, I'll put it that way, overlap between what the applicant and the third party from the town is doing, but it, money aside, really lends to a nice scope and view
Okay.
of the project.
I just want to make sure they know that.
The erosion control.
Because
Yeah, thank you.
I don't want them to come back later and say you were surprised. I want, so.
Sure. No, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
And AJ, you mentioned that you were looking at getting like civil engineers out there. It could be a qualified person. I know civil engineers are expensive too, so you can, you just have to have that certification.
No, they're, ask him, look at this suit, look at this suit. It's way nice, it's nicer than mine.
You know, we can be expensive, you know.
I paid for that suit in a month of his billing, no, just kidding.
Just letting you know.
All right, any other questions or comments? Anything from anybody in chambers or out on Zoom? All right, with that, Roger, you want to give us, I think you're up, Roger, right?
I think I did the last.
Oh, you did the last, oh, Nicole, you want to give us a motion to continue the NOI for 440 Central Street to 7:01 PM, and we're going to be on the 29th.
29th
Yeah.
of January.
29th of January.
Right, January, yep.
Give a motion to continue the NOI for 444 East Central Street for 7:01 on January 29th.
Second?
Vote to continue.
We'll continue.
Continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue.
Abstain. All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple weeks. Pleasure as always.
It didn't sound that sincere.
It was sincere, I promise. Chris can tell, I talk to Chris enough, he knows. I talk to him almost every day to harass him. Thank
More
you.
than my mother.
Thank you, Bricolai, have a good night.
All right. With that, we will open up the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair. Derek, how you doing? You have a hand up?
Yeah, Russ from EDR.
Oh, okay, great.
So Derek Adams, the applicant for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair. We have Russ with EDR, who we've contracted with to help us with this NOI. And Russ, welcome aboard, if you can hear us.
Hey,
And,
Russ.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me, and it's very nice to meet everyone. Russ Kleekamp, I'm an engineer with the firm Environmental Design and Research.
Great.
Do you want to move right ahead, Russ? Did you put a few things together?
Sure, yes, I put a brief slideshow together. If it's okay, I'll share my screen and we can get right into it. And maybe Bricolai, if you can just give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen here. Great. So it would be okay if I could just leave it in this format instead of a full slideshow. It blocks my other screen here. So we'll just begin with a brief overview and background. So I'm sure the town is familiar with the culvert location, located very close to 70 Prospect Street. EDR was first notified in November of the goings-on with the culvert. And we did do a site visit. We went out there, a few initial observations. It's a very busy road. It's at a low point. There's a lot of activity going on there. So we do acknowledge that it's a challenging site. The culvert, as we understand, is estimated to be approximately 100 years old. And this was from a previous report that was done in 2022 by the engineering company, or TEC, that did an assessment on the culverts, or some of the culverts within the town of Franklin. The photograph here in the middle is the culvert as of 2022. You can see the upstream side has two vitrified clay pipes that were identified as 24-inch diameter. And the downstream side, you can still see the rectangular geometry of the original dry place stone culvert. Although I can't confirm it, I do have a hunch that these two vitrified clay pipes were put in sometime after the construction of the culvert, perhaps if the road was widened or throughout the years. But again, this is on the upstream side. And part of the concern was the condition of the culvert, and what led to this is the rocks falling in. You can see in 2022, even one of the pipes is partially clogged. So that brings us up to the work that was completed in 2025 between April 29th and May 1st. DPW got a phone call from a resident on the upstream side of the culvert that had some concern with the ponding water. Upon inspection, the DPW did unclog, partial unclogging of one of the two vitrified clay pipes. July 15th, 2025, DPW went back out to reestablish, stabilize the head wall along the upstream bank, and two portions of HDPE pipe were sleeved into the existing vitrified clay, and we understand that they extend approximately 4 feet out from where the original vitrified clay pipes were. In September 30th, 2025, DPW submitted the notice of intent that was peer-reviewed by Beta. They had several comments, and all of this information was provided to EDR. I've had a chance to visit the site twice and really dig into the background. So bringing us up through November of 2025, like I mentioned, we did review the comments from the Beta group regarding the submission of the NOI and various items that were left incomplete with it, and that's part of the scope of work that EDR has been tasked to complete for the DPW. We do have a wetland scientist on staff, and we've already reached out to the local surveyor that the town engineer is comfortable with working with, and we also acknowledge that we'll need a PLS stamped site plan for this work. But there were a lot of comments about the resource area boundary delineation, construction phase vegetation clearing, mitigation measures, the performance standards, and acknowledging that we'll be in compliance with those post-restoration, and then overall compliance with the regulatory bylaws. So as the current status, EDR has submitted our signed proposal to the town. We are waiting for authorization back on that. That will allow us to subcontract with the engineering firm. As mentioned, we do the delineations in-house, so we'll make sure to coordinate with the surveyors to develop the existing conditions plan. And we do want to make sure that the deficiencies noted by the Beta Group are in the retroactive NOI that will be working with the town of Franklin and meeting each one of these comments. So we are prepared to initiate this work. As of right now, it's truly an administrative item. We are waiting for the signed contract, and I've brought this up with Derek, and he has acknowledged that he's checking in on the status of the contract. So not a tremendous amount of new work to update, just the fact that the town has been active with a consulting firm, being ourselves, and we look forward to working on this NOI in the future with the town. I'll pause there briefly for questions and do my best to answer.
So Russ, so your intent is to resubmit the NOI as opposed to address the peer review comments, or both, or?
Correct. We would, the peer review comments would be addressed through a resubmission of the NOI, just to make sure that we have everything captured.
Okay, so that's how you're gonna resubmit the NOI. Once you get the green light, do you have a feel for how long that would take to get that submission to us?
We'd want to do it as quickly as possible. We understand that this is, the culvert is in fairly poor shape, and we want to get out there and stabilize it, but it will probably take 2 to 4 weeks was the quote for the surveyor to get the PLS stamped site plan. So we'll do as much as we can with the application preparation during those 2 to 4 weeks. So upon authorization, I'd say a best case scenario might be 5 to 6 weeks from authorization, perhaps slightly longer if we run into some type of hang-up or hurdles. If the surveyors can get the plan to us in 2 weeks versus 4 weeks, that will reduce the time frame.
Okay. Okay. So you're thinking, well, I guess it depends on, and when was the, Derek, when was the?
I received their proposal early December, and that was forwarded. I received the proposal from EDR early December.
Yep.
And I forwarded that to procurement. Typically, it takes between 2 and 4 weeks for them to
Okay,
get that finalized with all the signatures. Of course, we had 2 holidays in the
yeah,
interim,
oh,
so.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gently inquire once a week with procurement to see what the status is, and
Okay. So you're thinking 5 to 6 weeks, Russ?
If the survey truly takes 4 weeks, if we get the survey turned around in 2 weeks, we can certainly do everything we can to accelerate it. We do have staff ready and available to work on this, so we'd prioritize it.
Okay.
So 5 to 6 weeks before we get something to vote on?
We get something to take a look at, even.
Get to take a look at.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so, not sure you're familiar with this piece, right? We typically, not typically, our policy is, in order to consider something in a meeting, we have to have the materials by noon of the Thursday previous, right? You know, I realize we're all kind of resting on Town of Franklin procurement and understand that. You know, if there's any way possible we could get something by the 19th of February, so we could look at it on the 26th, that would be optimum.
Anything that they can get us, the sooner the better, so that will expedite this process considerably.
So, you know, hey, I understand what you're up against, Russ. I'm just kind of giving you some dates that would be, you know, work better for us rather than not. If you can't make the 19th, you know, hey, we get it, but that's a good target, if you could, February 19th, because then we could consider it on the 26th, if that makes sense.
We'll certainly make every effort to do that. I'll pass the word on to the surveyor and the design team to try to accelerate this as much as we can, but I have those dates noted.
Yeah, better you
At the
know
very
than-
least,
Better you know than you don't, right? Hate to have it come in on the 20th, right? So, okay.
Understood. We can certainly, I mean, at worst case, excuse me, worst case scenario, we can certainly give you a progress update, show the work to date, and submit the prior Thursday a package of what we have today, noting items that might be incomplete, but we'll make every effort to have it as complete as possible by then.
Okay. Okay.
Big picture, we're talking about after the fact NOI, right? You're not proposing any more work at the site, or are you?
No, it'd be truly a retroactive NOI for the work to date. We are going to be meeting in the future with the town engineer and DPW to discuss the future proposed work with this. Interesting, challenging culvert. We've already vetted a few ways to rehabilitate, but we want to have that larger discussion with DPW and the town engineer.
Thanks. So separate project. I know you mentioned last time there's other problems.
Separate project, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
thanks.
And we had mentioned this last time too, where the meeting that Russ just referenced with the town engineer and the DPW director is going to be a discussion amongst the lowest 5 that I brought up last time to see where we're going to prioritize to do that. This might be the one that we focus on, but there's a couple other ones too. So more than a couple, but a few other ones.
Thank you.
Bricolai, you have a comment?
Just 2. Hi, Russ. Were you able to see the DEP comments too?
I was not. I just saw the beta comments and the submitted, so I'd like to take a look at those.
Yes, DEP. DEP did what DEP does. So there's, yeah. And then on a side, since Russ is here, I would just like to mention again for the record, this will be my final time, that small conflict, nothing that I think I have to recuse myself from, but Colin Duncan and I are on a board together for AMWS. So I'm actually happy that he is not representing this project for that reason. So that was all. Thank you.
And Russ, if you want to check with Janelle, I'm 99% certain that I forwarded those DEP comments to her. But if not, I still have them, so I can send them first thing tomorrow morning if you don't have them.
Sure.
All right. Any comments or questions from the audience or on Zoom? Looks like no. So, Matthew, you can post up here. Give us a motion to, you guys are done, right? Derek and Russ? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we are.
Didn't want to cut you off.
Any public comments?
I asked, and we got head shakes.
Okay.
So give, Matt, if you could give us a motion to continue the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair to January 29th at 7:02.
Happy to do it. I give you a motion to continue the NOI for Nicholas Drive Prospect Street culvert repair to the 29th of February at 7:02 PM.
Second?
Second, vote to continue.
All right,
Well, to continue.
vote to continue?
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you helping out this, Russ.
You got it.
Um,
Thank you.
Next, we'll open up the NOI for 1199 West Central Street.
I think we have a Gene Christie.
Yeah, I think we got Zoom, right?
There I am. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, hello, how are you?
Ooh, I am off coloring, I'm sorry about that. Hi, I'm Jean Christie, Principal Engineer at Time Bond, presenting tonight for Gorelick Farms. I think maybe a month ago, I was before the commission. We were at that point, we had submitted back to peer review to address some of their comments and concerns, and we were waiting for a response from them. We did receive their response to our response, and we've revised plans and some other documentation to kind of address some of those. So is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, so what I thought we might do, right, it definitely want to have you share your screen. So it looked like going through the response to the peer review, we've got a couple special conditions we're agreeable to, right? Keeping additional erosion controls on site and monitoring the plantings for 2 growing seasons, I think, right, was agreeable to you guys?
2 growing seasons is fine, that's typical, I think, right?
Yep. So I'm kind of taking these in ascending order. And then you had some plan updates. Is that, would love to see that if that's what you're going to go through, right? We've got the. Yep, okay. And then we saw the PLS stamp variance request, so maybe we
Yes.
talk about that at the end. Is that kind of what you're thinking
All
here?
those things are on my list.
All right,
so.
rock and roll. All right.
Okay. All right, move all these things out of the way. All right, so some of the plan changes, they were very minor, nothing really changed, nothing changed at all, I should say, with the drainage system. Beta did ask that we clarify the tree clearing limits, so we've, added or clarified where those limits are, added notation to the plans, made it a little more obvious so that, if someone's out there checking, compliance with plans, it's pretty clear what those limits are. All of our changes have revision clouds. We do like to put the purple revision clouds around everything so that you can see what's changed from our original submission, and then date them. So the most recent date on these plans is the things that we changed in response to beta. The next piece was the erosion control barrier type that we are using. And I think previously it was like straw wattles. Now we've changed to a compost filter tube without straw. That has been updated on the plans in the details, as well as the erosion and sediment control plan. I think our response letter to Beta said the O&M plan, which is not correct. It is the erosion and sediment control plan. That detail on the detail sheet like 501, I think is also updated. Beta did ask that we include the impact table, what our temporary and permanent impacts are to your resource areas, instead of putting it in other places in the application. It's on the plans. It's very obvious to the contractor now that those are your impacts. So I think those were the 3 real big changes, and again, they're really small changes. The variance request is probably a bigger topic, I think. I think the requests or the requirement of actually, I should pause there. Does anybody have any questions on the plans?
No, that's, well, I'm good, but.
Okay. So the variance request is something new as of our last meeting. As I mentioned we did submit a letter kind of explaining where we got this existing conditions information. We did have professional land surveying doing some of the survey work for some of the utility stuff on site. We had lots of different data sources to compile this information, and don't think that it was necessary to have a surveyor do the entire site. The surveyor did the drainage work. And so that's the part that was driving this project, not any of the other things, not the property line and not the, other things. We were out there obviously for delineation. So we think that the drainage lines, drainage information, and the delineation, we were comfortable with that level of existing conditions. So I'm happy to talk more about any of the data that we obtained for existing conditions.
Louis, any comments on the PLS?
So the information that you obtained was from the referenced drawings or surveys. So I'm seeing here, let's see here, the last one, I guess the most recent one was the resource areas. Well, that was done by you guys. But then there was a utility.
I'm sorry, what are you looking at?
The G002 general notes, the base plan notes. So I guess, so really, you took the information from the utility that they did the underground surveying, and that included the most up-to-date survey information on this plan?
So this list is all the pieces and parts that we've used. Garlic Farms had their own base plan. We did the topography. Ty and Bond flew the topography. Outside of the resource area delineation, we did have WSP, the surveyor. That's the third bullet. Do a survey of the drainage system. After that, we did ground penetrating radar to find other utilities in the area, what the depths are and things like that. Okay. And then we referenced, to make sure that some of our property line information was correct, the drainage infrastructure project in West Central Street that was done for DOT. So we were sure that we had their layout, their property line layout information shown accurately on the drawings.
Okay. Nothing's changed since this information was generated that you guys into.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think typically when we on the application itself, it does request the POS to have that information presented to us. I know there's some cases, especially as an engineer, you can do that. You just reference in other pieces of information as long as it hasn't changed, or you're working in conjunction with a surveyor. There's those types of situations. I think given this proximity here, it's just because where it is, and we're changing the. Let's see here.
We're just putting in a line.
We're just putting in a line, but
What?
I guess really it's in the proximity of the location of where this work is going to be conducted. Looks like it's far away from the. I mean, it's a distance, right, from the property line. So it's not like right on that. So.
At the front of the building, if I may, it is close to the layout line for the Mass DOT for West Central Street. I would recommend that we, maybe as a condition of approval, have that property line surveyed and staked prior to construction, so that the contractor knows to stay out of it, or can stay out of it without, or just stay out of it.
Okay.
If that's the concern, unless I'm misunderstanding what the concern is.
No, I mean, just, how typically we ask of applicants for POS, and in this case, we're not asking, you guys are looking to not get one, so.
I mean, this is a very developed site. They know where everything is.
Yeah, and I think they have the utilities. Like, I was looking at the references, and I think this is, how long goes, so I guess really what I'm saying is that if you're referencing something that was like 10 years ago, maybe in less time, things could have changed. But you noted a lot of references, and you're using the DOT information, which is, they're pretty good about having information.
Well, they got dates here, it's 2006,
Yeah.
2024, 2024, 2025, 25, and 195 for 2002, so.
I guess on my end, I would be, it's more of a precedent as far as like moving this forward is, just because it's on our application, so, how would that, overall, how that would do as far as like when we request it from another applicant, if we're gonna be doing this, these types of reviews, so. And I know there's not a lot of information in here already, but it's.
This is a very developed site. They've been here for years. They know where everything is.
Yeah.
We're putting in a drain line to go and suggest, and they've detailed exactly where, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of information where they got the layout. What are we going to achieve by doing something else? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I think they know exactly where it's gonna go and what they're gonna be
Oh,
crossing.
no, I don't doubt that, so.
Mm-hmm.
No, just looking at the plan, like the references now, it seems like you have a lot of them in there.
Right.
Louis, out of curiosity, does it
Yeah.
make a difference to you on the precedents that, in this case, we are not actually building anything? Right, so they're not putting up new buildings, they're not putting up new structures.
Right, yeah.
And in that case, I would agree that I think the PLS is probably far more important, because you need to know exactly where it is on the
I think,
property.
Yeah.
But in this case, that, they're digging a trench.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that alleviates some of your concern over the
No,
precedent.
that's definitely a good comment, for sure. I think, just given that there's information in there and they're referencing it, and nothing's changed since the last information, so is that my understanding? Is it Gene?
That's my understanding as well.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Any other thoughts on the variance for the PLS? You feel comfortable, you got more knowledge than.
It's interesting because we'll use it oftentimes, at least in some of the projects, especially when it's more complex, we'll use a survey. Like I said, sometimes it will, if we have enough information, we can put it down. But but basically we're like certifying that this is.
We're not
accurate.
certifying it.
Like
They're certifying.
They're certifying that this is like accurate and
It's
everything's
their
in there.
site, and it's to
Yeah.
stabilize their drainage issue that they didn't create.
Yeah. So, I think just given that the references that they have, I think it should be fine.
Okay. So do we want to vote on the variance request then?
So this would be
And
just
the
a variance, or are
pre-compliance-
we gonna vote on,
Not the project.
not the project?
Typically, you approve the variance at the end.
Okay, all right, we can wait then. That makes sense. Thank you for that. Okay. So any other comments or questions? Okay. Bricolai, any further input you have?
Not from me, no.
So I guess we would be, you think we'd be in a position to write up conditions, Bricolai? Oh, okay, yeah, I think that would be the goal. If we could work, Gene Christie, does that make sense to you? If we work on special conditions, take a look at that next meeting?
Yep. Is there any chance we can do it tonight?
No, we wouldn't.
I know, just know that Gorelick Farms wants to get moving on this as quickly as possible,
I
given
understand that.
upcoming spring weather.
Yeah, no, I understand. We're definitely not prepared to put special conditions in place tonight. We weren't prepared for that. So, but we could look at next meeting and go from there.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but.
If we had the special conditions, could we vote it through next meeting?
You know, there's not a lot. I think we could.
It's just a pipeline.
Right, and if there's no discussion, so we could take a look at it. But we'll for sure have special conditions written up and review that next meeting. Gene Christie.
Can we,
Yes?
would we send
Okay.
if you wrote them up, here's what we got so far, and send it to them to look at?
So we
Or is that
don't,
just-
procedurally, we get
No.
asked a lot, and we don't because they could
Okay.
change, and just hate to give somebody something and get their
All right,
whistle wet and then.
just a question.
Yeah, no, it gets asked a lot, but we're pretty standard on that.
Okay.
Anybody else have any thoughts, input, questions?
I just had a quick question. As far as the stormwater for TSS, I'm kind of confused, but it's saying that Beta is saying that typical it's 80% removal, but then the response says 25% removal is what the project proposes. Are you? It's on page 10.
Let me look that up real quick.
Page 10.
Where are we?
Below the table.
What are we looking at here?
Yes.
Right, okay, so that's for new development, that you need the 80% TSS removal. This isn't a new development.
Right.
Um,
I didn't know if it meant
So
new
that,
development
what we're
or
doing
new-
is,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
That's what, I was confused because I didn't know if it was meaning like new development or new because you're putting in all of the new systems and stuff for the stormwater.
No, it's for the new development, and this isn't new development, it is redevelopment. So what we did, instead of retaining the existing catch basins on site, which don't have a deep sump or a hood, you can't claim any TSS for that, we are replacing them with, our current standard designs so that we can get some TSS removal, at least that first flush of TSS removal.
And that's just being deposited into Mine Brook.
Currently today.
Thank you.
Anybody else, any questions? Anything from anybody in chambers or on Zoom? All right, so with that, Richard, back to you. We'll take a motion to
Continue.
continue to the 29th. It's 1199 West Central Street, continue to
7:03.
January 29th at 7:03.
I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for 1199 West Central Street to January 22nd at 7:03.
Got a second?
Second.
All right.
January 29th, isn't it?
January 29th, did I say that? No.
You said second.
22nd.
Oh, bummer.
Good catch.
Yes.
It'll be the 29th.
It's the 29th. I'll vote for the 29th.
All right.
Vote to continue to the 29th.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
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 All right, and Jean Christie will have conditions written up for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
and we'll,
Take care.
okay, we'll open up our final public hearing of the evening, which is Symphony Drive, Tanglewood Estates.
No Spring Street?
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Wow, my bad. We've got, actually, second to last, 80 Spring Street, my bad. Thank you, good catch. You got a hand up?
Oh, yeah, there's one, a sheet. Oh, we've seen this one before.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Hello.
My name is Seth Donahoe. I'm with Dilson Roy Civil Design Group. I apologize for the awkward pause on the rejoin there. Would it be all right to give the Commission a quick overview and a recap? We were before you in November.
Tell you what, I think what we might be able to do, I would say, just kind of in the essence of time, and certainly if you feel strongly compelled, we can go through whatever you want. I would say, if you look through, you guys look through the response to the peer review letter, a lot of it was administrative and seems to be addressed. I think our next step is we'll validate that. I don't think we need to go through all that unless anybody feels we need to. It seems fairly administrative. So I would say, personally, is that acceptable to you, Seth?
Yes, sir. If the outcome is headed towards an order of conditions that the Commission can hopefully vote on, we would have no issues with that. So, as you mentioned, Beta did give us a peer review after your last meeting. I feel we've addressed everything in there, and we incorporated some of the comments that you guys gave us at our last meeting.
I think one thing we had a question, potentially a request on, is design-wise, in the back of the pool, you've got the native buffer zone planning area, and you've got that inside the fence. Our thought was it might be better to have that outside, to move the fence in and that outside of it. Is that something?
I think it actually is the way that you prefer it. So it goes pool, a very small pool patio, and then a fence, and then the native planting area is actually between the fence and the BVW.
Okay.
I can zoom on that specifically if you'd like me to share my screen quickly.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, maybe I was just looking at it wrong. I mean, because that would make sense, right? It didn't make sense having that inside it, so. Oh, this is nice.
So,
Color.
this is actually the fence right here.
Oh, yeah.
And the highlighted area is the restoration area. And
Okay.
we had discussed, and I believe that some of the commission was sympathetic. Well, we certainly did move the location of the structures. The applicant has a desire not to have a tree hard against their pool. And so I feel this was a compromise in that we have a fence and then there's a low-lying native shrub area adjacent to the pool in this manner.
Okay, all right, good. Well, your color makes it a lot easier to see, so thank you. That's what we were looking for. All right, that was the one pointer question I had. I don't know if anybody else had anything. All right, so, we'll get confirmation back from Beta in a response on your comments, but again, looks fairly administrative. And Bricolai, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if the plan could be amended because the fence dashing actually extends into the 50-foot buffer zone. So I feel better knowing that the fence is supposed to go along the line of the actual boundary of the 50-foot buffer zone, but the gray hashing goes into the 50. So I think that's the point of confusion. So we would need an updated plan.
I think maybe we'll color code that for you because the intent is to be exactly
That's
as you're
fine.
requesting.
That's fine.
So I've zoomed in here and the 50-foot buffer line is a bold line at the rear of the site.
Yeah,
And the
and
fence
then
is entirely outside of it.
Okay.
And we would certainly be accepting of a condition that the fence itself needs to be outside of the 50-foot buffer
Oh, I'm
zone.
sorry. I was looking at the proposed tree line. I was thinking that at the top proposed pool fence, it pointed right to that gray bolded hashing. It didn't come down. Yeah, I'm set now. Thank you so much, Seth.
It's no problem.
No,
No
Good.
I
problem.
was confused too.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, that's why the color, I think we all had
The
this.
line weight it's blending together.
Yeah,
so.
that's why the color was good, but we could fix that with a condition, so, okay. I don't know, Bricolai, if, I mean, everything else, looked pretty administrative and mopped up, so.
Correct.
I don't think there's anything else we need to review.
Nope. At the request of the commission, I can draft conditions then for the next meeting.
That'd be great,
Okay.
thank you. Does that work for you, Seth?
I would have no objections to that. So I'll be happy to attend your next meeting. That assumes that Beta will have time to review prior to that. And if you would like my participation in any of the conditions, I'd be happy to do so. I also understand that many of those may be requirements that you enact on this.
Yeah, so we'll present them to you on the 29th, and you certainly have the opportunity to discuss input, and the goal would be to finalize them then, for sure. Okay?
That sounds great.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, anybody in the audience or on Zoom? Okay. With that, Louis, we'll give you an opportunity to give us a continuation for the NOI for 80 Spring Street to January 29th at 7:04.
22nd.
Okay, I'll give you a motion to continue the hearing for 80 Spring Street for January 29th at 7:04 PM.
Second,
All right,
vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
continue,
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
continue. Thanks, Seth, appreciate the update with the colored plan. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll go to the final NOI of the evening, the NOI for Symphony Drive, Tanglewood Estates.
What a nice name. Symphony in Tanglewood.
All right.
Symphony Drive.
I feel so musical.
It's musical, right? It's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Color drawings. Oh, I love color drawings.
The other guy showed us that. The color code. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
I know, as soon as I
That
looked
looks
that up.
different. Like, it stands out, like.
The funny thing is, you bring the line,
We were all
same thing, right?
not looking at
I
that.
can barely see the screen, let alone what's on it, for God's sakes.
It should be part of the application, colored.
And big enough so that.
How are you?
Good, how about you? Good
Excellent.
evening, everyone. For the record, my name's Cameron Gray, and I'm with Bay Colony Group. We are the engineer for this project. I'm here on behalf of our client Symphony Real Estate Development for our project off of Symphony Drive. So this property is located at the end of Symphony Drive, beyond the existing cul-de-sac. The property is currently undeveloped and consists of a wooded area. You can see, looking at this parcel, that it's located on a hillside, and it slopes west to east with approximately 90-foot elevation change, so it's a pretty significant slope. There are 2 isolated wetlands located on this property. One in the western portion of the property, located at the top of the hill, depicted in the light green, and then one located on the eastern side of the property at the bottom of the hill, again depicted in the light green. So these are isolated wetlands, so we're here just underneath the local bylaw. It's not covered in the Wetlands Protection Act. So that wetland was reviewed and flagged by the Park Corporation, and we went out and located the wetland flags in an on-the-ground survey. So we're proposing the construction of a single-family home along with the associated driveway, utilities, and yard area. So a portion of the home, the backyard, and the drainage basin will be located within the 100-foot buffer zone, which I have depicted as that red dashed line. So the home will be approximately 89 feet from the wetlands at its closest point. The basin will be approximately 81 feet from the wetlands at its closest point.
Quick heads up for you, and I was gonna ask this, so in your narrative of the NOI, it says the home will be 51 feet from the...
Yeah, I caught that earlier, so I went and double checked all my numbers, so I know these ones are correct.
All right, because I'm looking at the plans, and I'm like, that doesn't look like...
Yeah, so yes, the house that I showed depicted on the plan is 89 feet from the wetland.
Oh, okay, thank you, that makes sense.
Yeah, no problem. And then, again, the basin's 81 feet, I double checked that one, and then the limited clearing is taking place 31 feet from the wetlands at its closest point. So approximately 14,560 square feet of buffer zone will be altered due to this project, with about 2,638 square feet of that area taking place within the 50-foot buffer zone. We're not proposing any structures or impervious area within that 50-foot buffer zone, and we're not proposing any work within the 25-foot no disturb.
Do you know what the grade of the slope is there?
The existing grade? I don't have it offhand, but I mean, it goes 90 feet from the top of the site all the way down to the bottom. I don't have the dimensions right here, but I can give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, so it slopes, your height, it's from, east,
It's sloping this
from the
way.
middle to the east, you go 292 to, 266, yeah, like 30 feet.
Yeah, so the ridge of the slope is up near Berkshire Drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it slopes all the way down to the wetland towards the bottom and continues to slope.
So this would be on a hill then?
Yeah, so we're on a pretty significant hillside. If you guys have a chance to go out to that site, the existing neighborhood, you can see a lot of these houses are built up and have significant retaining walls in order to accommodate the homes and deal with this slope. So this development will be no different than what's out front. So I'm sorry, so the proposed homes will be serviced by municipal water and sewer tied into the existing utilities off of Symphony Drive. And as I mentioned, we have an infiltration basin for the subdivision that will also be located within the buffer zone. The erosion control for this project will consist of a silt sock installed around the down gradient limit and stabilized construction entrance at the mouth of the project. And I think the only other thing I wanted to mention was we went before planning board earlier this week. This project's got to be reviewed by the town's consultant. We haven't received any comments back as of tonight. We received some preliminary comments from the town's engineer. We have no issues with those. And with that, I just want to thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
So thank you, by the way.
No problem.
So basin, right, basin 1 is the catch basin, right? For the stormwater. And is there a mechanism, here's where I'm thinking, right? Is you got driveway on the the uphill house flowing down almost right into the driveway of the lower house, right? And I'm just wondering if you have a plan or a way that you're gonna move water flowing down that driveway into the catch basin before it heads down the other guy's driveway into his garage there.
Yep, so, I have it flowing down that driveway, and it actually goes into a dip before we go up to the roadway.
There you go.
Yep,
Okay.
and that roadway is actually cramped, so I'm not utilizing any catch basins for this site, it's just simply grading it into these basins. And then it's gonna be a connection through, just a flared end that goes underneath the proposed roadway.
Yep.
That'll feed into that drainage basin too. That will ultimately, treat it before it overflows into the wetlands at the bottom.
Okay, all right, so the road is up gradient of the driveway, right?
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense, got it, thank you. Oh, so it's a detention basin, okay.
Yeah, so,
Not-
yeah,
not a
that
catch
first one
basin.
is a detention basin
Got
on the left, and then it's an
All
infiltration
right, yeah,
basin
I
on
used
the
wrong
right.
term. I got you, okay, got it, okay. So we've got some clearing and part of the number 2 drainage basin is in the 100, right?
Yep.
Other than that, and actually you got a small piece of the house in the 100 there too, right?
Yeah, just that small piece that juts out the
Okay.
back.
Actually, but yeah, you have some limited construction in the 100, and then just clearing in the 50?
Yep, for the backyard area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have numbers for it. So it's 164 feet of buffer zone will be altered due to the home, 958 square feet due to the basin, and then the remaining 13,438 square feet is for the rear yard area.
Okay. Okay. Those are the questions I had. Any other?
No, I'm still digesting this one.
Yeah. Looks like he's got it covered, but.
Any other?
It's a lot of work for 2 house lots.
Yes, it was a significant amount of grading
Yeah.
into this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing your profile there.
Yeah, it was tough
I
to
don't think
do.
I've ever seen something that steep.
I looked at that.
Ricolai, thoughts?
It would be a bummer, it could be nice enough.
Just a few. I wanted to say, well, actually apologize. I don't believe I've responded back to your emails yet. I got sideswiped this week. I know the applicant had reached out twice, I believe, for comments. Don't have them from myself yet, still in project review. Beta is still in project review. I just wanted to confirm, I'm assuming there's a reason why the driveway is the length that it is, or why you're in the buffer zone, leaning towards moving that house or the backyard outside of the buffer zone. So are there certain, for example, zoning regulations you have to adhere to, planning board requirements? Why is this designed the way that it is, that it's impacting resource areas?
So really, it was the grade driving the train out here, and, I mean, there's no way for me to pull my infiltration basin any closer in order for me to catch the existing grade without bringing in a bunch of fill to this site. That's the reason the driveway is as long as it is. So if I pull this house further, I mess with this a lot. So if I pull this house further at the back of the site here, I'd be creating a pretty significant slope going down towards the wetlands. So having the house in this area allows me to kind of start catching that existing grade without filling too much at the back of the property towards the wetlands.
Thank you. That's all I have at this time.
Okay.
For the area that you're clearing, I assume that's currently some sort of mature woodland forest. Is it possible to pull that part a little further in so you're not clearing into the 50-foot buffer zone? I realize it would result in a smaller backyard, but.
Yeah, it's just, people are gonna want a backyard for potentially future things, but again, it's just, I'm trying to catch that existing grade here, so was trying to avoid having a steep slope going at the back of the property down towards the wetlands.
Yeah, I mean, totally understand with the placement of the house, it's just the clearing of the trees itself, right, to create that backyard, whether you can make a narrower backyard and stay out of that 50-foot buffer zone.
Okay, yeah, I could review that and see if that would be a possibility.
Good idea, Matt. Okay. Any comments in chambers or on Zoom? We have if you wouldn't mind coming up and give us your name and address and what you'd like to say. Thank you.
Sure.
Somebody was.
Yeah, very tall, not as tall as me. Yeah, so thank you for the time. I'm actually a resident.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you give us your name
Yeah.
and address?
No, Joseph Amonte. I live at 133 Brandywine Road. I'm in a butter, so I live just downhill, actually, of this site.
Okay, thank you for that.
I also attended the planning board committee earlier this week. I also submitted these comments. I just submitted them tonight through there's a submission form that I can send, and I also emailed them, so I don't know
Okay.
if that was received, but I did submit them, so you have them on record. But ultimately, the reason I wanted to make some comments is I just really want to make sure, obviously a lot of thought has gone into the project. I'm not necessarily opposed to the project. It's great to have this kind of development in Franklin. But I want to make sure that the wetland resource areas and also the abutting properties downhill don't have issues with the stormwater runoff. So I'll just jump straight. I reviewed all the designs, and I have three specific things that I thought I'd mention. One is, I know the road edge design is proposed to use gravel trenches versus curbing. And my main concern with that is, in the winter, plows are going to push snow, road, sand over these trenches. And so you're probably going to clog those trenches pretty quickly. And then my concern is once those get clogged, they're really ineffective at that point to stop or catch the rainwater. So my request would be, might the commission require some permanent physical barrier like a Cape Cod berm or curbs on the downhill side to help guarantee that the water is directed to where it should be going? For you to consider, maybe there's other options. Second thing, and this is probably my bigger concern, is the way it's designed is everything's intended to go to that second retention pond. I think it's called 5P, but you can correct me if I'm wrong in the diagram. That's the larger one on the lower side of the hill. The calculations use a very high infiltration rate, over 8 inches per hour, which is based on the fill of that basin, as I understand it. And, that assumes that filtration media is clean. So over time, especially in a wooded area like this, you're going to get pine, dirt, leaves, other things are going to collect on the surface of that basin and would prevent the water from actually infiltrating down into that basin. It's actually a fairly shallow top, so it's not a huge, in Brandywine, if anybody's been there, I know we have these huge retention basins, so I don't know how much is infiltration. This is more shallow, and it's mostly below the surface for the infiltration. So I worry that if this sort of creates a seal on the top, or at least reduces infiltration, that there'll be a lot of runoff right off the back down into the wetlands, which could harm the wetlands, and then, of course, can go further down to the houses below. We've had a lot of water, and my neighbors and I have done a lot to remediate the water issues, and so we're very sensitive to something that might disturb the water. And then the last is maintenance conditions. So I was mentioning, if things could gather and leaves could gather, this is not going to be town maintained, it's a private property. And so if this person decides not to maintain this properly, that could significantly affect it. So I had sort of three things that I was thinking about for folks to consider, but certainly you can consider other things. One is, might there be some submission of annual maintenance log to the conservation agent?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
An annual maintenance log
Oh, in your meeting.
submitted to the conservation agent, potentially photographic proof of cleaning, and third, maybe an establishment of an escrow fund to ensure maintenance in perpetuity. Those are the high-level comments. Thank you for your time.
Hey, appreciate you coming in and the thoughtfulness around those.
Thanks.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay. Anybody on Zoom? Okay. Nothing else? All right. So, yeah, we'll have our peer review agency take a look at it, Beta, right, get their comments back.
Yep.
So next step would be to take a look at that, consider the comments in chambers tonight, and go from there.
Awesome.
All right. So with that, go ahead, Michael.
Can I just ask a question? So, I'm assuming you've done this type of work before. How does to address one of the questions, how does the maintenance of privately owned drainage basins normally work, in your experience?
So I designed it in accordance with just the stormwater regulations, and a part of that is developing an operation and maintenance plan that goes with the stormwater system. So that's something that the owners, the future owners of this, and the existing owner is aware of, or will be made aware of, that in order for these things to function properly, they do need maintenance.
Okay.
And I also break down a cost for those.
Thank you.
So you have an O&M plan already in the stormwater, or you developed?
Yeah, so it's part of my stormwater report. I believe it's Appendix C.
Part of your stormwater thing, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Appendix C, you think?
Yeah.
All right, I didn't get that far back. Okay, I'll take a look. Thanks. Good question. Okay. All right, actually, I think you're up for the continuation. So, come on, Mike.
All right. I'll give you a motion to continue the NOI for Symphony Drive, Tanglewood Estates to January 29th at 7:05.
Second. Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Vote to continue.
Continue?
Continue.
Continue?
Continue.
It was Cayman, right?
Cameron.
Cameron, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
All right, thanks, Cameron.
Thank you guys very much.
Appreciate it, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Okay. All right, so we closed our public hearings. We have one MBZA we didn't get to earlier, 912 Washington Street. Is that you, sir? Oh,
No,
okay.
he's leaving.
Okay. Do we have the applicant?
We do not, and typically I know the commission does not approve without the applicant in-house, but because these trees are hazardous, I would actually just ask perhaps the commission approve it, or I can grant an administrative approval and you ratify it later.
So I think the good thing is, I don't know if you looked through that, it's trees that are generally speaking in a wooded area. Apparently the applicant is amenable to stumps in place, it's not in the yard, so seems fairly academic. I think.
Some pretty ugly looking trees there.
Yeah, they look pretty, oh, there we go, yeah. So I think we could approve the MBZA with the conditions that the stumps be left in place if everybody's good with that. Sure. Okay. You good with that, Bricolai?
Yes, sir?
All right. Roger? Great. Want to give us a motion to approve the MBZA for 912 Washington Street with the condition that stumps be left in place?
I'll make a motion to approve the MBZA for 912 Washington Street with the condition of stumps be left in place.
Seconded.
All right.
Vote to approve.
Vote to approve.
Approve?
Approve.
Approve.
Approve?
Approve.
All right, so that's good. So then we've got discussions, 79 Hancock Road, is that the reimbursement? No.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you want to make a comment? You want me to?
Yeah. So, commissioners, this was a reimbursement that you discussed maybe 2 meetings back, which would have been, I don't know, what, 3 months ago? At this point. Where there's a tree on conservation land, so it is your jurisdiction and your purview and your maintenance. However, the tree is hazardous and was posing risk to a gentleman's home. Instead of us hiring a contractor as typical to go out and take care of the tree or utilizing DPW, the commission chose instead to consider reimbursement, since the tree removal would have meant mobilizing a crane on this man's driveway. So to mitigate the risk of that, we offered for the homeowner to hire his own contractor to remove the tree. He did. It was $1,500. I approved the reimbursement, so I'm just here to ask for ratification of that decision.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right.
In this day and age,
Nay.
it's not a bad price.
No, to get it done and we didn't have to deal with any liability was really a good idea. So, 121 Grove Street. So this is a continuation of the conversation we had in our last meeting where we thought we might have to add another condition regarding the stormwater inspections. And I'll paraphrase and Bricolai, you can correct me if I get off track here, but the good news is in a work session and digging into this, it's come up that this has already been resolved by the ZBA rule. So we don't need to put another special condition in place. It was already arguably in place via the ZBA. So that's the good news. So then it becomes a matter of, and we heard it a little bit ago, Beta gave a quote, ZBA's peer review group is Hancock, they're gonna give a quote, and the applicant will have the opportunity to choose
Big one.
which quote they pick. There's some,
Hancock.
well, we'll see, you never know. That's kind of the easy button overview, I'd say. I don't know if Bricolai or Louis, you were part of the conversation. I wasn't available. If you feel there's any more we need to add, but I think the good news is, at least at this point, from our perspective, it's fairly resolved. We just got to make sure it gets executed, and that remains to be seen, but we have a plan.
I would say that's the short of it. It's already in our stormwater bylaw and in the ZBA decision. So any redundancies in other conditions is just to really make sure that there isn't an arguing point. But there wasn't, for the record, a lack of knowing that this was coming. And that's all I'll say about that.
And in other news, they've already had 2 violations in that regard. So maybe it's a good thing there's some redundancy in inspections, by the way.
Sure. Yep.
So which is why we do them, that we have third party.
Grove Street's already had 2 violations?
Correct. So that's why we have third-party peer reviewers look at this, because when people self-inspect, well, guess sometimes, there's issues.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
So at any rate, it's good that we're doing it and keeping on top of it. We have a plan. Final thing, go ahead, Richard.
Well, I've been going out to Franklin Heights every now and again. They're busy building, but they're not doing much else. They're not going up, they've only gone up to Station 21 or something. I think in their original contractor, dirt contractor, they had a big falling out, and there's a new guy there.
Oh, really?
But I was struck by the fact that they're not expanding the road anymore. They're just building. I think they need to generate some income.
Oh, interesting.
But they have seeded, they went out there, I haven't been out there for, holidays about a month. But they have seeded a bunch, they went out and sprayed a bunch of seed on it. And, it doesn't look very pretty, but
Wow.
it isn't going anywhere.
That's good. All right.
And I can't imagine who's gonna buy those new condos with a big dirt pile out in front of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, they seem to be not violating their agreement.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for.
No, they still adhere to their SWIP and we still have inspections.
Yep.
So, that's what's important. Oh,
Have you been out?
to Franklin Heights, yes, and Beta goes out quite frequently. John and I go out there every once in a while.
What do you think?
I think they're where we would expect them to be now. I think once we come into springtime, it'll be interesting to see what changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they do.
Yeah. Yep. I don't want to interrupt any other discussions, but I do have 3 other items to note, just whenever you get down to it.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I was gonna bring up was the email we got, and we all talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie did send a note, said that we had all responded, and was appreciative, so thank you. And it seems like we've all complied. I think it's a good, at least exercise and reminder for me to make sure you stay on the up and up, which I had no issue sending in anything I had communicated. As my wife said to me, it's that old saw, just think about your mother looking over your shoulder, anything you're emailing, and make sure it meets that standard. I met that standard, I felt like, so. But thank you for everybody for responding, and I think Jamie was appreciative, so. That was the only other thing I had, Brico Live.
Well, that was one of my 3, but on that, all of you will now be getting .gov emails, so congratulations.
Yep.
Those will be-
Is that a good thing?
Another email.
I think it is, it's cleaner, so, yeah.
It is much cleaner. Okay, sticking on the administrative side, week and a half ago, I accepted a contract, for part-time, partially remote. So, did you clap? I didn't hear the clapping.
Yeah, we did,
Chamber.
we did
Okay,
clap.
all right.
You seriously
Good,
didn't hear
thank
it? You just got to steam it
No,
all.
well, the microphone, yay. Yeah, thank you. And the town of Franklin cuts them out. I don't know if you ever watch like town council
yeah.
remotely. When people clap, they cut it out. Thank you for that,
I think it's
actually.
for,
But,
so they
thanks
don't
for-
lose their hearing.
Yeah. Just, so that's exciting. So thank you. I'm slowly getting the feel of things now, with the new schedule and what my workload can handle, what I can handle. So I'm hoping to be more plugged in on that regard. In that regard, as well, I am drafting a part-time conservation assistant position. So that's very exciting for the conservation department.
That'll be a good thing, right?
Will be a good thing. Thank you, Tyler, for all of your help. Tyler will be doing some knowledge transfer and onboarding. Yay, Tyler. So more on that later. And then I know it is late and it did not make this agenda, but I wanted to keep it on your list. Earth Day. Can definitely put it on the next agenda. If you would like to talk about it tonight, that's great. Otherwise, if you wanted to save it for when all of these public hearings drop off of our agenda, feel free as well.
Yeah, I think, yeah, let's just see if we can get into it next time. The other thing, and Nicole brought it up again, is I think we've got Beta working on the local bylaws and regs, right?
Yep, so John and I are meeting tomorrow. This is I have a list of things that we're going over, so.
All right, cool. So, yeah, all right, so I know we had a good conversation about Earth Day last time. I think let's revisit that on the 29th. Hopefully a quicker meeting. Yeah. All right,
And that's all we had.
excellent. All right, well, progress, we potentially got a few things we can work on next time, so, good deal. Motion to adjourn, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you. Good night, Bricolai, appreciate your help.
Bye.
Recording stopped.
Typically